Let's do the damn thing.
Oh, you know what time it is. It's time to take it to the Birdland. It's about to go down. Hope y'all ready. Yeah, let's go. Come and roll with me to the Birdland. Friends got to giving you the word, man. Any other BS is absurd, man. Sports talking, they give it to you firsthand. They can talk Terps, they can talk O's. Yeah, they both lit. That's how it goes. Baltimore squad, Ravens and Poe. Better tune in. Here gonna show. Birdland, Birdland, Birdland. BS. Birdland, Birdland, Birdland. BS.
What's up, BSers? Another Tuesday, another Drew, no Frat again.
Just throw me off. You don't even give me the chance to say my line.
Yes.
Say your
It's
lines.
all about that BS, baby.
Sorry, I'm excited. I'm amped up. I got this MD Crash read. I can't wait to hit it, knock it out of the park again.
Oh, my God.
He's on the website now.
I'm on the website now. I got a bio. My wife's jealous. Oh, you ain't doing
That's
one.
that's what it is. We got into his own damn head by putting him on the damn website
Yeah.
now.
I think he's Hollywood.
You don't even have a shirt on.
I'm going to make sure I change the picture every
You
day.
know what? You know what? He thinks he's Hollywood. We'll see if he acts like Hollywood and performs like him.
I don't want to
Hey,
be the
stand
Riddler.
up there, turn your shirt off, and flex next to those boys. See
Won't
if you can
happen.
feel
Won't happen. Gotta get back on that Peloton.
All right, guys. Well, we got a good show for you this week. Obviously, Drew back in the big seat tonight as Fred is taking a little more time away. We've got Ryan, we've got James, and we've got special guest at Vito Spumoni. That would be Joe Carlozo in-house.
Keep that spot
See that,
warm.
Ryan?
Yeah, the half Terp, half Penn State fan. It's a real weird combo, but keep rocking it.
Apparently, he's picking later.
Apparently, we're calling the casting couch tonight. We are. They've already said that is their name tonight.
We are the couch.
Yeah. So we've got a good show for you guys. A lot going on. While we're hoping that we hit on all the Ravens off-season editions, right? This past year, we got a bunch of off-season editions. We're hoping we're hitting on them. We're going to go over some of those and who we really want to see take it to the next level. But we're going to review, and this was Ryan's idea, so I'm giving you the credit here. We're going to review the biggest busts. We're going to have a little draft.
Can't wait.
A draft of the worst busts in Ravens history. And this could be free agency. It could be through the draft. We are going to pick them. It's going to be 12.
We got the number one pick over here.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, we never did a randomizer. Oh, crap. All right.
Yeah,
all right,
he'll do the randomizer. He'll get it
All right,
taken
this is
care
his
of.
baby. He's got it.
So I'm excited to see what all you guys kind of think
Yeah, it should be a fun segment.
about this.
Yeah.
The trade deadline, it's approaching. Mike Elias, he's sitting there waiting by the phone, I'm sure.
We'll see how many calls he gets.
You can tell Ryan wrote this because it's like he's sitting waiting by the bat phone, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's not the cell phone that he
No one
carries
waits
around
for the
all
phone.
the time.
No one waits by the phone.
No,
They
still
carry the phone.
landline. He's old school.
Actually, there's a picture of him holding his cell phone, so I got it right. Just later in the show. You guys got to wait. That's called anticipation.
And then we're going to take a look at the actual pro baseball players in the organization, and you'll see what we're talking about when we get to that. And in this week's rundown, we're talking frat boy golf, domestic violence cases galore, tragedy in D.C. Sad to hear about that. U.S. men's soccer team making a splash, and the Manning brothers are coming out of retirement, but not for the reason you think. Drew?
I don't think they could throw a football anymore, but that's just me.
Eli could.
Eli could, for sure.
He couldn't throw when he played.
He can still throw better. He can
He
still
couldn't
throw better
throw
than
it
Peyton.
accurately, but he could throw it.
Yeah, okay.
All right, give our sponsor a shout out, Drew.
All right, MD Crash. Injured at work or in an auto accident and not sure who to call? 855 MD Crash. So the Maryland personal injury attorneys that have your back. And if you find yourself in the unfortunate situation, I wouldn't know. But if you do, give our team an MD Crash a call right away. And we all know that the cost of medical bills and lost wages and go with your pain and suffering can all add up quickly and potentially put you in a very bad financial situation. If you want a team that will handle your case, big or small, and give you a peace of mind, save this number now if you already haven't. 855 MD Crash. That's 855-632-7274. Be sure to follow them on Facebook for some fun giveaways, including tickets to some of your hometown teams.
I'm going to ask the couch over there. Can we have a golf clap for him on that?
No, that was way worse than last year or last week.
I said a
Yeah,
golf
last
clap.
week was better. I
A
felt
golf
so
clap.
good.
In the
I started stumbling on words.
Bio 100% got in his head on that one. We're going to have to take it down. And anybody that needs that number, no excuses, it's sitting right here in the corner of your screen, all right? Right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Drew
all right?
can't read it, but you can.
I can read it.
He got caught up on big or small. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if your deck is big or small.
Oh
we can
my
still
God,
sit
here
on
we
that.
go.
The bigger lettering,
Jesus
way easier to
Christ.
see. The smaller lettering, not so much.
Yeah, whoever typed that's rough.
Anyway.
I did like that I put in like 90% of the intro last week just to get something in there, and nothing changed.
No.
Scott's just like, I'll just read that. That's cool.
Yeah, we're just gonna go with it. We're just gonna go with that. But no, so obviously Ravens flock. We saw the great additions that we made this offseason through the draft, through a little bit of free agency, and I'm kind of curious to get everybody's take and really kind of break it down as the Ravens rookies report for training camp today. Did you guys see the video of them rolling in today?
Yeah. I always like seeing those videos, like in any training camp when the training camp starts, and you got the players coming out in their gear, ready to just start practice. I always like those. Slow motions, always cool.
Oh yeah, those are good. I like them coming in. For the first
before-
time,
yeah,
right?
that's
I mean,
it,
they've
yeah.
been there before, right? But it's really this marks the start of the season, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice to see those guys come in. I saw the video. It started with Ben Cleveland and Dalen Hayes kind of being there, first men there. You saw Rashad Bateman rolling in, Tyler Wallace rolling in, Brandon Stevens rolling in. So it was good to see some of those guys. And then did you see Ben Mason rolling?
I didn't. Did Ryan see Ben Mason?
Did anybody see Ben Mason
Nobody
roll in?
cares.
Ben Mason rolling looking like he
Ben Mason's
either
parents
lost a
probably
bet
care.
or he's been having some fun partying because he got full out shaved mohawk right down the middle.
You're not Gronk, and you're not cool because you went to Michigan, and you're just one of Hoagie's boys. So just calm down. It'll be okay.
Get your mic a little closer next time. Anyway, so exciting to see these guys,
Yeah.
coming in, and we're going to get into it a little bit of who we're excited to see, who we think can make the biggest splash. But one thing I did want to touch on before we get into the guys that we have this year and who we think is going to make that big splash. Did you guys see the news on Lorenzo Talaferio? We talked about it a few months ago when it actually happened, but more breaking news this week. Did you see this?
Yeah, it did. For those of you who may not have didn't know or may have forgotten, back on December 16th of last year, we got news of his passing at the age of 28. Originally, people thought heart attack or something along those lines, something natural causes. However, on Monday, according to the Virginia office of the medical examiner, he did die of an overdose of cocaine and fentanyl. So that gets us thinking, should the NFL, is there something the NFL can do to help current and former players more with their substance abuse problems or their injury problems or all their problems, all the negative stuff that comes with winning and playing football?
I think it starts with education of handling, and
Yeah.
I think it starts in college, which I honestly think that's one thing that, Ryan, you might agree with this, you might not. I think that's one area that the name, image, likeness piece will kind of bring to the forefront is the education and the image and making sure that you're kind of taking care of yourself and your future.
There might be a little bit more oversight, just because you now have kids that have a little bit more management that have the means to be getting into trouble. Because that's what happens with these guys. They don't have the means to get into trouble for most of their life. They're getting into a little bit of stuff here and there, but then they got all this money to do whatever they want to do. So it's a really big trap. A lot of guys keep hanging out with the same people that they grew up with, which is where you see a lot of the players get in trouble. Mike Vick didn't get in trouble for Mike Vick things. Mike Vick got in trouble for friend things.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what happens.
James?
They can do all.
James is just
my
replacing
God.
bear.
Trying to be
Mr. Grizz.
serious, and then you just got this bear.
He's like Wilson over there from Home
yeah,
Improvement.
now he really is.
He is here.
I just want to say, they do their
Just
job.
put the hat on the bear at this point, for God's sake, James.
Nah. They do their job as much as they want. You can talk about drugs, alcohol. We tell people to stop smoking. They just keep on buying packs of cigarettes. They raise it to $10. They're still buying packs of cigarettes. So they're going to do what they're ever going to do. You can have people talk and all that. As long as you say, hey, watch what you do, blah, blah, blah. But this has been going on for years between Lenny Bias and all these athletes doing cocaine, Darryl Strawberry and Doc Good. they're going to do what they want. Anybody can tell them, hey, let's take care of your body on that. Whatever they want to do, they're going to do anyway. So I'm all for it. Let them do what they want. Let them live their lifestyle. You can say, hey, not do drugs, but if they want to do it, they're going to do it anyway. So they can do whatever they want.
Joe, what are your thoughts?
I don't think there's any way you're going to stop them using drugs. I mean, most of us went to college. People partied all the time. I saw hard drugs in college, so not that I did them, but
Saw them.
You brought it up. No.
This is on the internet now, Joe.
I know, I'm done.
Pass.
That's a bear. That was a bear talking.
Yeah, I mean, that was the bear the whole time. I mean, unfortunately, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like anything else. NFL players are just like anybody that has addictions. If they don't want to seek help, they're not going to seek help anyway. So, I mean, if you're going to have a drug issue and it could have been something, and I don't mean to demean him in any way. It could have been something that was always a problem. Look what happened with Waller. He was he was a player and was doing drugs like while he was on the member of the Ravens. So
I guess that's kind of what my thing is the NFL. Like I get that you can't force someone into help. They have to help themselves, right? But you got to be able to help, maybe provide them the tools. Maybe they don't know where they're at. Maybe it's the education. We were just talking about what's his face a few weeks ago with all of the issues that he's had with the drugs and staying off the weed, right? I think there's something to be said that the NFL is maybe not recognizing the pressure, because that's really why a lot of these guys do this. They turn to it because it's a pressure relaxer, it's a muscle relaxer at times, right? It helps them get into a zone. Whatever it may be, they're doing it for a reason. My thought was, I just think the NFL could maybe do something as far a little bit more education, right? And helping these guys. We can throw the book at them and have them fined all day and have them, suspended, but it keeps happening. Yeah. And it keeps happening to guys that had potential at one point and they just can't keep it together. So I guess that's where my point is I think there's something, I don't know what it is. I'll be honest. I don't know what it is, but just a sad story to hear, especially at such a young age. I mean, he's younger than everybody in this room.
I mean, unfortunately, like it seems like we haven't gotten an answer on the drug problem in America anyways. You know what I mean? Like, it almost feels like you're never going to really have an answer on that. So with this same thing, it feels like we're never really going to have an answer to.
He was partying like a rock star. Like a rock star.
All right, so let's get to the draft picks and the undrafted guys. And this was an idea that Ryan came up with. He came up with both of our ideas in the Ravens segment tonight.
Genius.
So he's good.
We got genius in the room.
He is not just good for Terp shit, okay?
But I am not good for Orioles stuff at all.
Oh, James is betting on you later for Orioles stuff. I'm just going to warn you now.
You lost.
He thinks he's going to win it. But so Ryan had the idea that, okay, out of all the guys that we picked up through the draft and, a good portion of the undrafted guys, pick one draft pick and one undrafted free agent that you're excited and interested to see this year, and give us a quick why. So I'm going to run down the list of all the guys, and then you give us who you're looking. So let's start with draft picks. We got Rashad Bateman, Odafe Oweh, Jason Oweh, Odafe Oweh, whatever you want to call him, Ben Cleveland, Brandon Stevens, Tylan Wallace, Sean Wade, Dalen Hayes, Ben Mason. Your undrafted guys are Darius Washington, Adrian Ely, and Ryan, I know that we're going to hear you on that one. I'm just going to say it right now. Foster Sorrell, Tony Poljan, Xavier Kelly, Nate McCrary, Dante Silensu, I think that's how you say his name, and linebacker Barrington Wade. So of those guys, let's start with you, Drew.
I don't think anybody's going to pick Silensu because we don't know how to say his name anyway.
Yeah. Drafted guys.
We're all rooting against him to make teams. We don't have to learn how to say his name.
Who's the drafted guy you're most excited to
see? The interesting part of it is, and as maybe skeptical as most of the fan base will be, it's Oweh for me.
Really?
Because it is such a huge athlete, such a specimen. You think, okay, yes, it is raw talent that we keep hearing about. But, at some point, you would figure that, like, if he shows some kind of, like, all this ability or something, like, you can harness it into something. It's not like he didn't come out of nowhere. You're saying he's a physical, he got a lot of physical prowess, but, like, you draft him in the 5th round. Like, he was a first-round eligible talent. I mean, a lot of mock drafts had him going in
Right.
the first round, and if it was the second round, it was like early second round. So it's not like he's some guy that should have dropped to the 5th round, in my mind. So I think almost too, just to go against the grain a little bit too for me, because it's like I was iffy on it when it first happened. I was against it. I mean, I'm like, nothing really sounded great to me about him. But then the more the people were negative about it, I was kind of like, you know what? No, let's see what this guy can do, because you just hear so much good stuff about all those parameters that you want to see if he does it and puts it in the sacks.
Yeah. I'm with David, who on YouTube says Ben Cleveland.
Yeah.
I really think this guy, you got to remember, Ben Cleveland, 6'6", 343 pounds, right? This guy is true country redneck, right?
Eating squirrels.
But some of his comparisons, now obviously he's going to be expected to he's expected to be somewhat of a slam dunk for the starting left guard job. But the comparisons on play and athletic ability at that size his comparables are Marshall Yanda, right? For Ravens fans. And so that's what I'm really curious to see what he looks like. They said he was a bit stiff during OTAs. That could just be kind of getting used to it. I'm really curious to see how he translated game speed, because game speed for this offensive line, it's a different ball game when you got that Cleveland game. That Cleveland game scares me, right? Because you got two guys that you got to handle coming off the edge. Plus, then you're going to wind up opening up the middle.
Yeah.
So you're going to have him having to choose between double teaming one of those guys on the outside or turning up the middle and assuming that either Ronnie Stanley or Villanueva has their man.
Yeah.
Right. So I think there's a lot to say here. I'm really curious, but I think as he gets more reps, more technique down, and he's working on it, I think we're just going to see him explode through the roof. But I'm curious and excited all at the same time.
And this is the thing we think, and it wouldn't be just the offensive lineman. I mean, it can be any player in the league, but it just seems different with these offense and defensive linemen. Like, they would automatically look better when they're practicing in pads, as the shorts in the middle of July, the middle of June. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to overdo it too much, so you want to show out. You know, especially those guys that are maybe a little later in the draft, but you're also like, until you're in pads, it really doesn't show.
And right now it's about technique, and it's about learning what that guy's tells are, so you can get him to stop doing them.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So that's what they're utilizing this rookie minicamp. That's what they're utilizing OTAs for. They're gonna continue to work with him. So excited to see where he goes with this. Let's go around the room. Ryan, who's your drafted guy that you're watching?
Well, first of all, I just want to give some credit to the Dark Empire. You said you're worried about the Cleveland game. The Steelers now with Melvin Gordon have T.J. Watt and Melvin Gordon. So
Ingram.
I'm sorry, Melvin Ingram. My bad. Wrong position. But still, it's going to be some edge heat coming all through the division, really, except for Cincy, who has forgot that defense is a thing. So, on the offensive side of things, I mean, obviously Ben Cleveland is a monster I'm looking for, but really, let's see if we struck out early. I mean, I need to see what Rashad Bateman's got. Like, it used to be the standard that it didn't really matter what a wide receiver did in year one, but that's not really the standard anymore. You got all your really top wide receivers are showing at least promise year one and breaking out year two, instead of it being the 3-year breakout for us. So there's a lot less patience in general across the league, and for us, a way less patience, because we assume we got it wrong if you're going to show us something bad, because that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, I think the thing with him too is like, you know, his speed, his route running, everything has been positive from what we've been hearing.
Yeah, everything looks good. I mean, you know, all you're going to hear is positive things really from beat writers in camp. The other thing about camp that struck me, I've only been to a couple of the training camps with you guys, but I don't see the linemen do like anything. Like I was a lineman in high school. Like they don't hit each other. They don't really line up. They do like shadow drills where they like, you know, they hit like the sled like half speed. I don't see like it's very different than when I go watch the Terps practice and they're making these boys work. Like they're doing walkthroughs in the NFL. That's just the way I see it with the linemen.
That's the difference between millionaires and not millionaires.
Until the preseason, I don't know if we're really going to know what that line's doing.
I was going to say, I guess that's the only thing is you don't want your linemen getting hurt. That's the last group of people you want getting hurt.
Definitely don't want them getting hurt. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know what we're going to really learn in camp with that group. I think we'll be able to learn with what the receivers have probably.
Right.
Because there's a little bit more play going on there. But with the linemen, we're going to have to wait all the way till preseason for that.
Yeah, fair enough. James, what do you got for your drafted guy?
Well, you guys all took the safety 1, 2, 3 picks. Like, hey, look at this guy. I'm so excited about him. Mine's Wallace. I think I liked him when we drafted him. I loved him, watching him on TV. I think he's going to be the next big thing. I think he's going to be the better of the wide receivers that we have now. But, Bateman's going. I think he's going to be a hell of a wide receiver. But Wallace, I think he's going to give him the 1-2 combo in the next couple of years. I think you'll actually probably see Hollywood fade out. And them two are going to shine.
Really? You think Hollywood's fading out of the picture?
Yeah, in the next couple of years. I think these two could be our 1-2 and be like people are drafting these like first rounders without the book.
Ryan getting called out on
Without the
YouTube
book.
right
Let me
now.
just
Without the book, I love the ad.
Let me just say, be more tuber. I agree exactly. He says stop living in the past and let him get a fair shot. Can't hold him against him, give him a small window because of our past player failures. I agree, but that's just not what I'm seeing. Like the fan base in general and the quick triggers on players last year that were just moving on from and drafting high spots and not seeing what we have in our second and third round wide receivers of the past. I think that they're getting nervous and they want to put a wide receiver around Lamar, so these windows are shrinking. But I fully agree, you can't hold because we don't know how to draft a wide receiver against a new wide receiver. You got to give everybody a fair shake.
Yeah. All right, Joe. Who do you got here?
I'm going OA.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Well,
I almost didn't want to take away. I almost didn't want to take away from him, but I knew it was coming.
I watched a lot of him in college, and he's a beast. And we need the next Terrell Suggs. Let's be real. We haven't had that on the team in a couple of years.
You haven't had that flash.
Yeah. We need that dominant pass rusher that can take over a game.
But he's got to make it translate, right? Jalen Ferguson broke Terrell Suggs' sack record in college and turns around and is struggling to make progress.
See, I love this pick, but I hate it because if he shits the bed, then I have to hear all this
I know,
shit.
trust me, I'm scared of that too.
All this shit.
No. He's talking about from the Penn State side of things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, never mind. I don't know.
All right, so those are we got all of our
I will say
drafted.
not to go into a tangent, but I'm intrigued by Sean Wade too, because you've had so much injuries with Tavon Young, who you know what I mean. Like you almost expect it at this point. So if it happens again, then he gets a chance to step up. I really think that was a sneaky pick for them.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys. We named several of them, but like we said, Brandon Stevens as a cornerback guy that you could have depth with there, that you can train behind some of the top cornerbacks in the league, right? The top cornerback tandem in the league. Ben Mason. What do they do with him? He's a fullback. What are you actually going to do with him? Because you have Pat Ricard. That's a big question mark. So let's see. So, all right. So let's look at undrafted guys. And reminder, you have Ardarius Washington, you have Adrian Ely, you have Foster Sherrill, Tony Pauljean, Xavier Kelly, Nate McCrary, Dante Salensu, and Barrington Wade. So for you, Drew, you know what? We're not even going to start with you. We're going to start with the slam dunk over here. Ryan, who's the undrafted guy that we think you were super excited about? Let's just get it out of the way.
Well, first I have to eat that I was wrong because I wanted to draft Adrian Ely in like the 5th round.
You did.
And we got him as an undrafted
You
free
were
agent.
calling for him in like the 3rd.
Yeah, I think it might have been earlier. Yeah.
Because Ben
You
Cleveland
said start
was there,
looking at him.
So after we missed out on all the tackles, I started saying that like he was in my top 5 of the next group of tackles, and then it just thinned out, where I was like, we got to get him now. Well, I was wrong, and that's why I don't run the Ravens. Lots of other reasons, too. But yeah, I think that Adrian Ely, he started 10 games at right tackle for the Sooners. He was second team All Big 12. Really, the pass blocking was his like biggest fault. The reason he fell down the draft boards. Well, we don't really do too much of that, especially compared to Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma throws the ball every play. So when you're playing against them, you got the defensive line with their ears pinned back going to your quarterback. It's a lot harder to rush than when they have to wait and see what Lamar's going to do, see if Lamar's going to take off, see if you got Gus or J.K. Dobbins in the ball 80% of the time. So I think he's going to be able to shoot off and do the great run blocking that he's known for, and that pass blocking will be easier because they won't be able to get that upfield rush right away because they know that every play the Sooners are dropping back and throwing the ball. That's just my take.
How many
on
games do you think he sits behind Villanueva if that's the case?
Oh, I mean, he's a rookie lineman, so they don't usually play at all. But I could see him if
You need you might need him for depth earlier than you think because of Villanueva's age.
But we are thin at line. My first call is that he's going to be one of the UDFAs that makes the team. Again,
Okay.
I was wrong with that we need to draft him, so I could be wrong again. But if he does make the team, I think it's going to take an injury to get him there, and I hope we don't see him. But if we do have it, I'll be hopeful that my take is right, that he does lack in pass rush, but when you don't have to do that 80% of the snaps in a game, it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah. So for me, I think the guy that I'm excited to see how he does in camp and really see if it can translate over is the guy that I mentioned last week, Tony Poljan. This guy started at Michigan as a quarterback, and obviously he wasn't going to be the starting quarterback. So
Central.
What? Oh, Central Michigan. Sorry,
Yeah.
but either way, he wasn't going to be
So
a starting
he's
quarterback. you love doing that. But look, this guy is athletic enough that he was able to make a true transition to tight end. He had 38 receptions, which is seventh most in the program's single season history. And I mentioned this for a tight end. He had 411 receiving yards, which is tied for seventh most by a tight end. And he joins an already crowded tight end room. But look, a lot of the tight end room that's there was just brought on to fill a hole and be experience, right? Eli Wolf, Tomlinson, that's why these guys were brought in. Mm-hmm. Now that you have Boyle and Andrews back, you can afford for that third tight end to be a guy that maybe you can be a little bit of a project guy.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why I think he's the biggest option there, because I don't have to pay the other guys. We save the salary cap on both of them. And we get this guy some NFL experience, which I think is going to wind up translating, because everything I've heard is that this guy is truly an athletic. He's a true athlete. But that's why he's able to make the transition.
He's like a Tim Tebow then. He's like a Tim Tebow.
Isn't Ben Mason that project tight end? Is that what they said they were going to take and do with him?
Right?
They said he
was a fullback, but they said they drafted him as a tight end.
They said they're going to draft. They drafted him as a tight end, but I don't know that he can. Everything I'm hearing is that he can block, but can he catch? If you're going to have Boyle, if you're going to depend on Boyle to be your number one blocking tight end again, then I don't think you need Ben Mason. But if you're going to ask Boyle to catch a little bit more and do what Hayden Hurst was doing when he was here, then I think it makes sense. Okay, Ben Mason comes in and he's able to block a little bit more. It just depends on what you want. Are they going to go? Do they need another pass catcher, or do they need a blocker? Because it's going to go one way or the other. And if it's a pass catcher, I think it's Tony Poljan over Ben Mason.
B. Moore Tuber says that he's a Ricard replacement, but with Ricard still under contract, he'll be the tight end gap. That makes sense a little bit. I could see that being a transition. Lord knows that Ricard's transitioned to 5 or 6 positions while he's been here.
David said, if it translates, how many tight ends and fullbacks do we keep? I think you wind up seeing us keep, and Ben Mason could very well make it as a backup fullback / tight end, rotational tight end. So we could see a 3-4 tight end on the roster, but that other guy winds up doing a little bit more versatile movement, like we saw Ricard do.
Teams.
Right.
You know what I mean? We do covet special teams players that can do both.
I mean, if Ben Mason, if you need a pass catcher, Ben Mason can be a gunner that can block.
Yeah, that goes back to our coverage last week of the different draft spots. So it's going to be hard to keep that many tight ends and not take from somewhere else. But
all right, Drew, undrafted guys, who are you looking at?
I was going to say, for me, it's the safety Ardarius Washington.
Okay.
I mainly look at it as, not mainly, but you also have Deshaun Elliott walking after maybe not walking, but it is his contract year.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? That it's not, those are your 2 starters, and they're obviously your 2 starters, but outside of that, you're kind of thin at safety.
Yeah.
And we've always been talking about Jimmy Smith possibly, converting, that kind of thing. So, but Washington was looked at as one of the best undrafted players coming, that was in the undrafted class by a lot of scouts. And then he was also the second highest graded safety in the nation, just behind his own teammate.
Yeah.
So, I feel like, you always think of a lot of like a defensive guys, like tackles and pass rushers that we find late or undrafted, that are like, those guys shine and they become something like that. I really do think like that guy could really come in, be a backup, and then be just like Clark, where you learned and then you became the starter, and that's it. Now you're the starter, and it's like you at least are serviceable.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. He provides you depth there too. Right, yeah. That you don't. We talked about. We do have some depth at safety, but we don't have any consistent depth.
Yeah.
It's not injured half the time. Yeah. That's the biggest problem. So I agree with you. I think he's got a shot. I think a few of these guys have a shot. I think few of them are a stretch, but I'm curious to see what he does as well.
Yeah, and it's just cool this year that you actually get to have a real training camp again, and we can see what these guys do, and maybe you find that gem in the grass. Joe, who you got?
I'm going Dante. I don't know how to say his last name.
That's because we didn't know how to say his last name.
Well, that's who I'm going with.
Still and Sue.
I know nothing about him, but to me, if he's boys with Lamar, a happy Lamar is a good Lamar.
Fair enough.
Then they could just have Kodak Black come in and play gunner on punt coverage.
Well, I mean, look. When you look at this guy's career, he was at 21 games at Graceland, and he totaled 59 receptions, 1,200 yards, 11 TDs. He served as team's kick returner for 2 years as well. So we keep talking about it.
Yeah.
The special teams tie it can play a major thing, and he's going to try to make a major leap to the NFL coming from the small program there in Graceland. He didn't play it against the big time, so this camp he's got to show up big time. He's got to show that he can play and he can go against some of these guys imagine going up against a Marcus Peters or going up against a Marlon Humphrey. And being able to say I came away with it more times than not.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what'll get you noticed.
Mm-hmm. His existence is mostly the Ravens just showing Lamar we are the anti-Packers. We're not going to treat you like Aaron Rodgers.
Who do you want us to bring in?
We're going to talk to you before every decision, no matter what. You want to decide who the janitor is that cleans your locker room? You get to decide that. Have a good day.
All right,
James.
James is busy drinking his coffee over there.
Sorry,
See his face.
if anybody has any connection to Wawa, they got the best blueberry cobbler coffee. Phenomenal. I'm a blueberry guy. Wawa's got the best
Stop
coffee.
giving away free sponsorships.
It's
damn
not
it.
free sponsorship, but if they want to bring
They're local enough. They should get a
If
hold
they
of
want
us.
to bring us some coffee, I'll drink it all night long. But anyways, mine is like Kanye West says, shine like a diamond. I'm going to go with Barrington Wade because it's a linebackers, and we always find the diamonds in the rough in linebackers. And this guy could probably be the next Bart Scott. Who's that?
Delius Thomas.
Delius Thomas. Like this could be the gem that could break the camel's back in a couple years.
Yeah, we do have a few people chiming in. Looks like B. Moore says Washington has heart, lacks size, but I like his motor and instincts. David says I think he was referring to so and so. I said so and so might be the new Averett, referring to Anthony Averett. He very well could be. I think there's a lot to be said there. Interesting that none of us said McCurry, Kelly, or Wade.
Is he Michael McCurry's like relative or anything?
It doesn't say, so I couldn't tell you. We'd have to somebody have to look that up. So, all right, let's move it along. And this one again, goes to Ryan. This credit goes to Ryan. So
It might suck. Don't tell him it's mine yet.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do every once in a while. We decided, especially while it's slow, we're gonna do some drafts. And some drafts of Ravens or different situations, random drafts. This week's draft is we're going to draft the worst of the worst list. We're going to put it up on Twitter, and we're going to put it up on Facebook after the show. And you guys are going to vote, and you're going to determine who the winner is. So you get to draft each team, and we're going to say Drew, myself, Ryan. We're all separate teams, and the casting couch over there is its own team. We are.
We are.
Call heads or tails, Scott.
Heads or tails? I'm going to say tails never fails. Let's see.
All right, tails. So it is the front desk. Now, Scott, call again to see whether it's you or Drew.
Heads.
Why don't I get the call?
Because I won the first time.
Heads. Scott goes first. We'll go clockwise. All right. That worked out great.
It worked out perfect. Number one bust. Now we're picking. This can come from free agency. This can come from draft. This can come from trades. Whatever it may be. But it's the biggest busts of the offseason additions that had the worst outcomes. So for me, I got to go Kyle Bowler. Number one.
Yeah,
It's gotta be Kyle
We
Bowler.
knew he was the number one.
I mean, the guy was a first round draft pick in 2013. He was a 19th overall pick, and he leads the organization in the most interceptions. And his TD to interception ratio is a differential of 1.
Yeah,
That's because they watched that video of him throwing the ball on his knee 70 yards.
That
Hit that
may
field
very
goal
well
post,
may.
though.
But look, the thing with this is when you look back at this draft, there were so many other guys that you already had that could have, that you could have picked up in the draft. The Ravens could have kept their 2004 draft pick and drafted Vince Wilfork, right? That's a name we all know. But you
That would have
didn't.
been much better.
This is 2003, not 2013. So let me correct myself. I think I said 2013, but 2003 draft pick. Look, overall, is just horrible. I think it's a slam dunk. Does anybody disagree with my pick?
I do. Good thing I'm next.
Of course you do.
No,
why.
you're not next.
Clockwise?
The clock.
Oh, is that how we're doing it?
Yeah, if we said
oh,
clockwise, you're not paying
man, fuck
attention.
you guys.
Yeah.
I was busy pulling up my list.
wait. We got
It's a snake draft.
Oh,
You're
okay,
good.
it's snake
No,
draft. So you get-
I don't care. Fred wouldn't stand for this shit. I know that.
So here's the thing. Yes. Did Kyle Bowler suck? But he played a lot of games for the Ravens.
20-22 record. That's not great, but
That's-
Jesus Christ, we remember like
you have-
Stoney Case and all those other guys.
You had 42 games played. There are so many players that we drafted or paid or traded for that haven't touched the field. So
I
I'm going to go
understand.
with the best story of all of them and go with Mr. Sergio Kindle.
That
The
was my one.
man that falls down a set of
that was my
stairs and
number
never
one.
becomes a Raven. Are you kidding
He
me
never
right now?
played. He literally like never played a
No,
snap.
2010 draft, second round pick, overall number 43. Kindle never suited up because he's walking around his house, I think in Texas, falls down the stairs, injures his head, and never plays football again.
And it was, like, never really
that's
explained either.
Yeah, that's,
Like, there was never
he was
any-
probably drunk or high on fentanyl
Yeah.
and cocaine.
Well,
you know?
and fair enough. Fair enough with this is as I was doing my research, just a point of note on that. Carlos Dunlap went 52nd overall in that draft.
Yep. So we got the guy that can't walk downstairs. So he wasn't going to be good even if he got here.
Yeah.
So yes, I think my pick's better because he played 42
Okay.
less games than yours.
Fair enough. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, James, you're up next. What do you got? You and Joe.
Casting Couch has decided because you never pick a player from the SEC is Matt Elam out of Florida. It's not hard to
Fucking-
carry
I
a
knew
ball.
this shit was coming.
It's not hard to follow a ball or hit somebody.
What school did you go to?
Florida.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
must have partied too much down there. Did too much cocaine and not find
Yeah.
the
He was
ball.
murdering people.
he
And
was
for
the
every
30
one in Florida, I can probably
32nd
find 3 in Penn State. So
He
shut
was
up.
the 32nd pick in the 2013 draft. All that talent ain't worth a shit. That's all I have to say.
Joe, do you have anything to add to this?
Nope.
Oh God! All right,
Should have went Penn State on that one.
all right. Where are you going, Drew? What do you think on this?
So
Back-to-back picks for
yeah,
the
I know.
Drewster.
Yeah, I got all the time on the clock to spend.
Yeah, we don't have that much time.
Yeah,
Let's go.
no, I know. So I'm going to go and think about a guy that is the same. I think it was the same class as Elam. It was the second round pick, Arthur Brown. Now, in fairness, he was expected to come in, be the inside linebacker of like the future to take over for the Hall of Fame or the retire. But like he just never found another groove. He's almost like Ferguson, where it's just like not to compare it's apples and oranges, but it's like you're just like, all right, yeah, that it's there, like that he could do that, and then just never showed anything, like
Yeah.
whatsoever.
All right.
That's also a much better pick than Scott's because he was here and he had 13 solo tackles in his entire career. I think that's slightly worse than Kyle Bowler.
My God. Here we go.
So far we have 3 picks better than the number 1 pick.
Whatever.
Back to you, Drew.
I really thought I could get Elam and Arthur Brown there in my top 2 because I knew the first 2 that were going, but I'm gonna go ahead and just I'm trying to steal the votes from the Twitter crowd on this one, and go with Perriman, Rashad Perriman.
That you are gonna
Stealing
win
from
the
you other
vote.
guys. Which is funny because it's like in the scheme of his career, like leaving Baltimore, like he has nothing stellar, but like he's had his moments. And granted, he's playing with in some offenses that are playing from behind all the time, and that kind of happens. But like he did not, and he couldn't catch it. Like you knew coming out of college he couldn't catch the damn ball, and then it's like. You have touchdown passes. You're dropping touchdown passes. Like it's one thing to drop passes, but when it matters, it sucks. And it just he never hit that upper key, and it just. I mean, you should have known it. We all kind of saw it anyway. But like for me, it was stealing the votes from someone.
All right.
I didn't want to get back to anybody.
Joe, where's the couch going on this one, Joe?
We're going very supplemental here. I believe there was a supplemental draft choice. Do you know him, Ryan?
You go ahead.
Jared Gaither.
What? How is that a bust?
It was a bust, dude.
They had to choose between him and.
Jared gave the left tackle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was the guard. He had to choose. They had to choose between him and
What are we talking about here?
That's something
Jared
like that.
Gaither played for the San Diego Chargers and was a monster.
It wasn't for us.
Yeah.
Okay, listen.
Do you understand what we're drafting?
Yeah.
Let me write the
We're
ship.
drafting Ravens.
Let me
He was a Raven.
Let me
He was
write
a
the ship.
Raven.
You're wrong. Let me write the ship. Everyone.
All right, go.
You had he was drafted I thought it was the second round, but it was him and Yonda. They were the two guards, and they actually played. It was really good, and it got to a point where you're not going to pay two guards when you still had a big contract with Jonathan Ogden. So they went with Yonda. Gaither went to New Orleans, and he did okay.
Was it New Orleans? I thought it was Carolina.
No, I'm pretty sure it was New Orleans. Doesn't matter. He wasn't here. They kept Yonda. Yonda's a possible Hall of Famer. Jared Gaither isn't a possible Hall of Famer. The debate on if he's a bust or not, that's up to Twitter to decide. These guys picked him.
Jared Gaither out of Maryland,
out of Maryland.
who was 6'9", not a guard, played
He was
tackle.
he was drafted by the Ravens. I remember that.
Yeah, in the supplemental draft.
Well, the Ravens busted by not keeping him because he
But-
played awfully well for San Diego. But all right, I'll write him down for your draft pick here.
yeah,
There's two Terps on my bust draft, by the way. I'm not protecting the Terps right now. There are two of them listed, and he is definitely not one of them.
All right.
Hey, wait, is the supplemental draft really a bust? Because it doesn't really.
That's
cost
the
you
other
anything.
thing. I wouldn't.
Yeah, it is.
I ruled out anyone below
But
a third round
that's
pick
the thing
for me.
is it didn't cost you anything in the supplemental draft. You didn't lose draft.
man,
You didn't
that's-
lose
They were
draft
just trying to hurt my
You didn't
feelings.
really lose any money. Out of it. It was
No,
minimal.
it's that Penn Stateness over there. I know what it was about.
Yeah, that's all it was. We
And
got
that
it
was
now.
the Ravens give him away.
So how is that a bust?
It is a bust because we let him go away. They
So would
let
you
him
have rather
play.
not paid Yonda?
I mean, if we
Yeah.
would have lost him
All
in a
right.
trade, like if we would have traded, the way I look at it, he could have been a bust if we kept him and we
It's a
traded
different
him
kind of bust
for some
because
other scrub.
we got him for like basically nothing. Like it was sort of like a undraftee. He was a good lineman, but as an organization, we let him go.
So you're saying as an organization we busted on
we
Jared
busted,
Gaither.
yeah, because he could have been here for a while. That's
so now
that's
he's
what I
giving me
mean.
a compliment for the Terps. I like it.
Underhanded.
All right.
All right. Go ahead, Ryan. Who's yours next?
All right. Well, I let the cat out of the bag. There's a couple Terps on here, so I don't know if I need a gamesmanship and like pick those so they don't get stolen or what.
He's like,
Harriman was a great pick, so I've already lost the draft because everyone hates on him harder than ever should. So they'll just think he's the worst pick ever. All right. I'm gonna go with our actual no. Yeah, I already let the cat out of the bag. I'll take it.
Where are you going here? Come on, pick.
I can't do that. All right, Ja Reed, offensive tackle. He was our third-round pick. He only saw 7 games in his 4 seasons here, so completely washed. Didn't play for us, really. He was cut before his rookie contract was even over, so complete bust. Ja Reed, offensive tackle.
All right.
A bad pick for the poll, but it's a good pick in real life.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go here with. I'm gonna go into free agency. I'm gonna go with Dominique Foxworth. Dominique Foxworth. He signed a 4-year, $28 million deal in 2009. He played 18 games in 4 years. 18 games. He had 4 interceptions. Tore his ACL in 2010. Retired in 2012. Huge bust, and you pay the guy a ton of money for him to really not put out any production because he was hurt half the time he was here.
I
Yep,
totally
you're
forgot
100%
about it.
right. He's definitely on my list. That was the one I was debating, so I let the cat out of the bag. The Terps were on my list. But I wasn't sure how many people would go free agency with this list anyway, since you're just losing money. So I was hoping that maybe it snuck back to me. But good thing I didn't have to shit on my own Terps, but he was a good player, and he was great with the Players Union, and he's still doing well with ESPN, but
Yeah.
for us, kind of sucked.
Yeah, it did. And then for me, my last one and the now 8th pick of this draft, I'm going to free agency again in Elvis Gerback. You signed this guy to a 5-year, $30 million deal to replace the guy, the quarterback that was there when we won the Super Bowl, that they say, led the team to the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure it was the defense that led the team to the Super Bowl, but he just kept them in it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But either way, he really didn't do much, right? While he was here in that 5 years, 3,000 yards, 15 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, failed to defend the Super Bowl title, and just walked away from the team after 1 year. So was not happy with what he did. You paid him 5 years to do that. You wasted time. You could have done that with a draft. You could have gotten a draft pick somewhere. You could have spent that money elsewhere on somebody else, another quarterback that would have been available at the time. So I don't think it's any issue with me. I'm going Elvis Grbac number 8 here in my final third.
I like that pick. Solid.
All right, Ryan, back to you.
All right, it's back to me already. All right, here we go.
It's called a snake draft.
Yeah, that's how a snake draft works. I was writing yours down and got distracted by that.
He had an answer. He didn't wait 20 seconds to pick Dominic Foxworth.
All right, so I will go with it was an emotional bust. Let me put it that way. This is another one of those ones I'm hoping that helps me with the polls since Perryman got taken. We really won because we got a 5th-round compensational pick for nothing. But I remember being the most excited I've ever been as a Ravens fan when the ESPN announced Terrell Owens to Baltimore. And then Terrell Owens goes, I'm not playing for Baltimore. You all fucking suck. And he argued with the NFL and became a free agent somehow magically. I don't understand how we got screwed, but they just go, I'm sorry we screwed you. Here's a 5th-round pick. So in reality, we got handed a 5th-round pick. I know it's not a complete loss, but as a fan base, what a bust. We all were like, Super Bowl, baby. We're rolling this. And then nothing. And we got drugged by Terrell Owens across the TV telling us how bad we were, that he wasn't going to play here. So that was the biggest emotional bust in Ravens history, except for maybe that Patriots game we fucked up.
The worst was the preseason game against the Ravens.
Was it? Oh, yeah, after that?
When he dropped that bomb, and he just...
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a real hard emotional toll for a Ravens fan base.
All right, Couch. What's your final pick? You're the number...
We got something better coming here.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
Tell him.
All right. Our third pick is Chris Redman. I believe he was Johnny Unitas'
Johnny
boy.
Unitas, supposed to be the next gunslinger, savior of the quarterbacks. He was, I think, a Heisman Trophy runner-up. Supposed to be the next franchise quarterback. Wasn't. Big waste talent. And Johnny U backed him up, too.
When did we draft him?
2000.
3rd-round pick.
Okay.
Say he wasn't even on my list either. I thought I was surprised, but it sounds.
They talked about
based
him
on
all
what
the
you're
time.
saying.
He
A
was-
3rd-round pick quarterback that was, I guess.
They
is a
even
bust.
Johnny U went to the Ravens and was talking this guy up, like saying he's the next big thing and that he's going to be in the NFL and all this from Louisville. But we got another Louisville quarterback now, so maybe it worked out for the best.
All right. Wasn't even on my radar. I'll be honest with you. Wasn't even on my radar.
Well, he was talked about real big.
B. Moore says he's a 6th-round pick, so we're going to check that. And if it was
He's
a
not a
6th-round pick,
pick.
then that's not much
He
of a
was a
bust.
3rd-round pick. I got it right in front of me. Pro Football Talk.
3rd-round pick. All right.
Do we
Third-round
really
pick.
trust Pro Football Talk?
Yes.
We'll check a couple other places just in case. All right, Drew.
They'll probably say Lamar was drafted in the 3rd round at this point. Man, I got so
I
much
still-
to choose from. I really didn't think my like.
Well, that
half
would
my
be-
You have a lot of options
We
here.
will check. We might go 4 deep here. So take your last pick, and then we'll ask everybody if they're okay with going 4 deep.
I'll go with a free agent wide receiver. And I'll pick him between 2 guys. Maybe if we're going again, I might pick both of them. But the one I'll go with is Jeremy Maclin.
That's the wrong one.
Because, at least it was a person and not a 5th-round draft pick that didn't, we gained and probably used on nobody.
I know.
He
just sour
did, though.
'cause
He
you probably
kind
drafted
he
him.
came here in free agency. It was just, he didn't do anything. Like, at all. Like, anything consequential. I don't remember. It was like 500 yards and then in one season cut bait.
Hey, he's going to see the same thing with Sammy
And then
Watkins.
he didn't do shit after he left Baltimore. So obviously it's a huge bust on just him anyway because, he didn't go and do something else. So
You're
are
gonna
we going
see
to keep
the
going?
same-
All right,
You're
James, do you have 3 more available?
I got
We
a
can
whole
keep
list
going.
over
Do you
here.
have 3 more available?
3 more?
No, there's just 1 for you, but just
Oh.
in case they all get picked. You
Yeah,
have 3 more on
yeah,
your list.
I got it,
all
I
right.
got
I think at this point it's not
Let's
getting picked.
go again,
Hurry
Drew.
up. Hurry up.
All right, so I'll go with the other wide receiver, Michael Crabtree, because outside of like a couple long touchdowns, he didn't do shit. He really didn't. And it was a 1 year thing, and he was gone.
Okay.
So I went
All right.
wide receiver heavy.
Back to couch.
Because that's our issue.
Well, we're going to go back to the SEC, Florida, 2000.
See, now I know what their draft strategy is here. Instead of actually taking this seriously.
Travis Taylor, dude.
What's wrong with Travis Taylor?
He's a fucking bust.
He was on my list.
He was supposed to be.
He started the first round.
He was the first
wide
round
receiver
pick.
bust.
He was supposed to be the next,
He's the
like,
first.
our elite franchise
started our long
wide
roll.
receiver, and he turned into jack shit.
All right.
That's all you got?
There's nothing to say about
Nothing
him,
to
man.
say.
He
He's
was
terrible.
a bust. He
All
was
right.
terrible.
Well,
You wasted a number one pick for him.
when Drew said that he was going to go with a free agent wide receiver and was going to take two of them, I am real shocked this got by. Lee Evans.
Yeah, I know.
Lee Evans in a desperate look at trying to get wide receiver depth. Came in the 2012 season, were fourth round pick. 2011 season traded for a fourth round pick with the Buffalo Bills. He was injured in preseason, never really became a consistent contributor. The only memorable thing that he did here was drop a touchdown in New England to lose an AFC championship game. So we gave up a pick for that. And so Lee Evans is my pick.
Scott, real quick, just want to give you a heads up. He was our 10th pick out of that draft. 10th. We traded up for him.
That's real rough. So that's
And
a really
out of
good
all
pick in the
these-
fourth round.
All these guys that are supposed to be good wide receivers, and you're picking at the 10th pick out of all the wide receivers that
I'd
are
love to
probably out
see what
there.
wide receivers were behind him that year.
I'll look it up.
All right.
So my notes for the stuff that I grabbed, one of the comparisons for him was in comparison to Torrey Smith. So in the 2002 season, Taylor caught 61 passes for 869 yards and 6 touchdowns. In comparison, Torrey Smith caught 49 passes in 2012 for 855 and 8 touchdowns. Those aren't far off numbers. I don't think he was a complete bust. I think you should check that again because there's way more guys on this list that you could call complete busts. Like my number one guy on this, or I shouldn't say my number one guy, but my guy that's next, it's Mark Clayton. Mark Clayton, if you want to go wide receiver that was a bust, he was out of Oklahoma. He was a 22nd pick in the draft. You had, at the same exact time, you had a six-time Pro Bowler in Logan Menkins, who was 32nd. You had Roddy White that was available, and you had Heath Miller, who was available.
You're forgetting one other one. What if we sucked that until Lamar? Quarterback? Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Drafted after Mark Clayton.
Yeah.
Can I got
Go ahead.
now for the 2000 draft.
They're stuck on the fact that they just wanted to prove. They just
I
wanted
don't
to
know.
make the Florida
They
dig.
keep trying
No,
to make
but
the
all
digs.
this-
This guy's
that's all they're
picking
doing.
No,
trades
It's the
that
turkey
didn't
egg and the
happen.
Florida
I think
dig.
it
That's
is.
all
You know
this
what?
is.
2000, the 10th pick.
The 10th pick.
The 10th. You traded up because the first pick was Jamal Lewis, which was fine at number 5. Then you trade back in at number 10 to get this elite franchise wide receiver that was a straight bust. He had a career. 22 touchdowns in how many years do we have him?
We had him for 4 years.
4 years.
He was
Not a bad
let go
clip.
after the 2004 season.
So who were the wide receivers in the first round other than
I
him?
just lost it.
All right.
All right. Well,
Any other honorable mentions that we got? I can run down mine.
there were some people that were saying Michael Orr,
Yep.
Courtney Upshaw, Timmy Jernigan,
Leon Cersei.
Max Williams was one that got a lot of injuries
The
there.
Cody's, Terrence and Dan Cody never amounted to anything.
Mike
Yeah.
Anderson, Frank Sanders, and then Willis McGahee was listed as a bad free agent signing.
I'm not
We
gonna
got
go with
one
that.
good year out of him. I think that's good enough. He ended up being a backup for Ray Rice after that, but we did get one good year out of him.
And then at that point it became a 3-headed monster with him, Rice, and McLean too. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna really count that.
Yeah, I
as
didn't
a
like
plus.
that either.
Yeah.
He was my, just in case you guys picked my whole list.
So
but
do
you
we
didn't.
want to run down the list or?
Oh,
we
yeah, I
ca-
can do that.
yeah,
So
go
I
ahead.
got him right here.
Run down the list, and then we'll post this for you guys.
Yeah, so Scott got Kyle Bowler with the number 1 pick. That was a terrible number 1 pick. Dominique Fossworth, Elvis
whatever we
Gerback,
think
who could have also been the number 1 pick. They're both sucky quarterbacks. Mark Clayton, Ryan Sergio Kindle, Ja Reed, T.O., Lee Evans. The couch went Elam, Jared Gaither, Chris Redman, and Travis Taylor for the all-Florida Maryland draft. And Drew got Arthur Brown, Perryman.
I love that
Macklin,
James
and
is like
Crabtree.
arguing this that these are the worst busts in Ravens history, but he only chose them because they were Florida and Maryland.
It was
That's
a
the only
supplemental
reason.
pick. That doesn't really
little
cost
bit
you
true. A
anything.
little bit true.
It's a little bit true, Joe. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, just going for the wow factor is all they want. Oh, jeez.
We'll find out how Twitter likes that. If you don't have a Twitter
poll.
account to follow us, sign up for Twitter and follow us.
Or we'll put it on Facebook
Put it
too.
on Facebook too, I guess. It's gonna be interesting.
All right, Ryan.
Everybody likes my Lee Evans pick.
Yeah, I hated that I didn't do that.
We've got a bunch of people chiming in. I saw a slow clap for Crabtree, by the way.
Get the slow clap for Crabtree. Oh, yep, there you go.
Oh man!
All right, so
give us shout outs.
That was fun. So we let's see. We got Sharon Sherry with the first. I think that's Sharon Sherry's first, which is
Well, she was the original.
yeah.
So
I mean, since we've been doing the first, obviously
okay.
she's been a first for a while.
Yeah.
Jamal Caldwell expecting the Lamar contract before camp starts. I don't know. It's a big expectation. We'll see. I don't know who's going to go first. I don't think Lamar wants to get paid before the other two because I think he knows he's going to whoever's last is getting the most money. That's my personal feeling on it. Chuck Summers, Steven Severs, Nick Short, who says, Big Country signed. Will they be serving squirrel at the bank now? And then Charlie, I give O's face burr on YouTube, says, having a hard time deciding what to watch. You guys versus the first all-women MLB broadcast with Melanie Newman. So shout out to Melanie Newman and the all-first women's broadcasting. We'll be talking about lots of other things the Orioles are trying to do to get fans to pay attention.
It's only the first.
David Mister, Dre Hanna, Steph Summers, and B. More Tuber, who's been very heavy in the comment section. We appreciate you, B. More Tuber.
All right, it's time for some bros, bows, and O's.
Yeah, that's right. After a nice little 3-game winning streak, they're on at 31-62 record. Not the greatest, but not the worst in the league. Meansy returned to the mound tonight, and I looked in just now. It's not very good.
I was gonna say I
It's,
saw a text come
5
through. He's
runs
getting
so
roughed up.
far, a couple home runs. I mean, other than I haven't been able to look at it and see how bad he is, but maybe anyone would chime in. But
Fred
just judging
says
by
he's
5 runs, that's not good.
Fred at text said he's getting hit hard, even his outs. So not great.
Not good at all.
But yeah, as Ryan alluded to, this is tonight's game is kind of monumental. So for the first time in MLB history, you're looking at an all-female broadcast crew calling the action. So you got Orioles broadcasting Melanie Newman. She's working the play-by-play with Sarah Langs of MLB.com, and then she serves as the color analyst, and then they're joined by MLB Network's Alana Rizzo on the sideline.
Yeah.
And then Heidi Watney and Lauren Gardner. I know everyone but Gardner, but
Yeah.
So that broadcast, they're doing the in-studio host. So that's exclusively on YouTube's Game of the Week. So, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and pretty cool that it's actually not blacked out on YouTube TV.
Yeah. Probably because of that. Like they said, that's
Yeah.
their Game of the Week. So
They have to put it no blackouts there. So.
yeah, if we were facing like the White Sox and it was a regular broadcast, probably not on there. No.
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely pretty cool. Another cool thing that a lot of people like that came out, the Orioles announced on yesterday, which they kind of clarified some things today. Unlimited ballpark pass.
Nice.
This is an unlimited ballpark that offers you a general admission ticket for every home game in August and September for $40 a month. Means you can go to have month-long access to every home game in August and September. The O's pass gives you general admission to standing room only throughout the Oriole Park, including the flag court areas behind the bullpen and the Budweiser roof deck. And they're saying that there's a limitation on them. I haven't heard how many have gone as of yet.
Time out.
Someone sounds butthurt.
You said they clarified today. I bought yesterday. How do you clarify the day after I purchased something?
Well, if you would have read when you actually purchased it, you would have
got
seen
excited.
that you were being charged twice.
He got excited.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I canceled my card already. You're only getting 40 out of me.
So you're only getting 1 month out of them. No, so they're trying to bring fans in, and I get it. So I'm interested to get everybody's take. What do you think on this, Joe?
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me because, like you said right there, you're bringing fans in, and it's either going to work or not. And it is limited. It's not like you're allowing 8,000 people are going to be buying these and storming the seats and wherever else in the stadium they can get to, because we already know they're not going to you could buy standing room tickets and not stand and standing room ticket. You can sit wherever you want, especially in that low, and there's outer edges because no one really's at the game, especially on a weeknight. Right. So to me, like if it works in bringing in fans in any fashion, I mean at this point of the rebuild, that's a positive to me. But I don't fork out a lot of money to be a season ticket holder. So I know that someone that's right next to me has a lot more to say on it than me.
Blow dart with that.
So I have no argument one way or the other. So have at it.
Well, I'll pass it over to the couch. What's the couch thinking here?
James,
I already know. No, we're not even going to ask James. I already know James.
I think it's outstanding. Whoever came up with that, it should get a bonus. I would also like to know the numbers of how many standing room fans compared to sitting in fans are there at the game. I want those numbers. I want to break it down when they announce the attendance for the game. To be like, well, we have so many sitting down season ticket holders, and we have double the amount of. I just bought a $40 ticket for the month attendance. So
just because you would stand, James. You're the nice person that I would actually.
I'm not lazy.
Right. You're not. But everyone else in the freaking world is, James. Recognize that. You work in an industry that you should recognize that. And I'm going to go off on my rant now. I'm not even going to let the couch finish. I'm sorry, Joe.
Damn.
So here's the deal. I get it. I get exactly what you were saying, Drew. This is one of those things that they're doing to bring in fans, right? And I get it. But one of the things that you have to recognize is by doing this. We looked at it before the show. There's 32 games in that span. You have 29 game holders. You have 13 game holders, including Joe over there. Joe's a 29 game holder, season ticket holder. You have people that paid $1,000, $2,000 plus,
2 to 3,
to have these tickets.
Sucker born every day.
I know, right? I got that shit for $80, maybe 40 if it works right.
See, this is why I can't take any of you seriously.
Yeah, I am serious. I would never have paid $2,000 for this shit, but $40.
Okay, so how much? Okay, so how much do you put out for the Terps?
$2,000, but that's a good.
No. So I now I'm gonna say you get to. I'm gonna open it up and fans can pay $20. To see all the games, to see half the games of the season.
Scott, let's stay focused. We're talking about the Terps. We're not talking about the Terps.
I'm making a comparison.
So
James.
they didn't do $20, but they did almost that. So they just opened up what's called a Terra Pass. So it's basically a season ticket, but you don't get a real seat. So they'll give you 3 lower bowl tickets and 3 upper deck tickets for the 6 games of the year. Or actually, there's 7 this year now, so 4 and 3 for $120, which is like an eighth of what I pay for a seat. I'm cool. Like, bring more people. Fill this place up. It's not full. Like, as an Oriole fan, I would be so bored out of my... I am a minor Oriole fan, and when I go sit in an empty stadium, it is so fucking depressing. Well, I hate it. I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm one of the 9 morons in the world that wants to watch this team.
You really can't compare because in football, like, if you're a student, you get free tickets anyway. So if I'm paying like $2,000 for a ticket, I'm like, those idiots that are going to leave at halftime, I could have been sitting there enjoying my time. So it's kind of rough. But for you pay $2,000, but you get a free parking pass with it.
No, I don't. I pay for parking. You pay for parking the same that you do. It's actually the same exact cost. That's my point. But you're going to do something. You're alienating the people that are there every day. The people that are already there. There is nothing you're going to say, James, that's going to convince me otherwise. Because everything that you're doing is alienating the people that have been there for 15 plus years.
Well, they messed up because they should have put parking included in there too. Because what happens now is if I go to 40 games or 32, I got paid $10 a parking. That adds up more than what I paid for the ticket. Anyway, someone else is making more money, not them.
Yeah. So let me give you the reason why I really bought this ticket. I'm not going to probably any of these games, but I walk down there almost every day I go to work. I take a walk at my lunch break, and I can go down. So now, anytime that it's open for batting practice before the game or during the game, I'm going to pick up my lunch and go stand in Camden Yards and eat my lunch, and I'm going to go back to work. And it's going to be great. And I might make it to one game and actually see the whole thing. Probably not.
You might
but
see
for $40,
Scott,
that's like 5 or 6. I've done it before where like I've gone to a scalper and been like, dude, I just want to go in and watch batting practice. You got something for $5? If you don't have something for $5, I'm out. So this is my $5 scalper ticket. It's already pre-bought.
And he'll come and visit you, Scott.
I get it. Again, I have no problem with anybody that wants to take advantage of this. I have no problem with that. My problem was with the organization alienating the fans that continue to stand by the team. I'm sorry, Ryan. You would admit it. You're a fair weather fan.
Yeah, I mean, barely even that.
Right. But that's my point, is you're catering to the people that, I get it. Yeah, they're going to mean something, but it doesn't mean anything to you if we're not winning. But if that's if we're in a winning product on the field, you would go more often.
Well, here's my thing. A full stadium does something for you, whether it's good or bad. As a Terp, I've been in some full stadiums where it's all these fucking Penn State fuckers.
We are, baby.
Or all these fucking Ohio State guys. That's still better than an empty stadium. Us playing Towson with like 4,000 people in a 40,000 person stadium is so boring to me. So to me, even if you could just fill that stadium with like I've gone to the Yankees games down there, or the Red Sox games, where it's like not full, but it's like good enough. I enjoy those games more than I enjoy sitting in a cavernous, empty stadium.
The difference that I'm saying is, in those situations, those people are paying for those seats. They're paying to sit there. You can tell me that it's standing room only, but I can tell you, having been a season ticket holder for over 20 plus years, Joe's been over 10 plus years, the majority of people that have standing room tickets only, guess where they sit? They sit in the sections around us because it's not regulated.
Do they even sell standing room before this? I didn't even know
yes,
that was a thing.
it's been sold for years. The only other time they didn't sell standing room only tickets was the 1994 playoff series, where they wound up putting bleachers
They did it
over
for,
top.
Yeah, they did it for. You were saying 94. They weren't, not to cut you off. You're thinking 96,
97. Sorry, 94. They did it with 94, 95. They did it for Cal.
With the Cal
they did it for Cal with the streak. But 96, 97, they did it in the playoffs, where they actually they took down the flags on the flag court and they put stands up there.
There's a lot of unemployed people in Baltimore right now. Maybe they're hiring people. Maybe they're going to enforce the seating things. Maybe they'll make it real easy where they go there and they say, "Sir, I see you have a standing room ticket and you would like to sit. That's going to be $5 extra to sit today."
Who
knows? The Orioles are crazy.
Be more Turner, I'm going to address you. And so you said that falls on the ushers. The ushers are instructed to let fans sit there because it makes the lower seating bowl look fuller.
Because an empty stadium bowl is embarrassing.
I'm not disagreeing. My point is that the organization is alienating the people who are spending the most money with them. There's over 11,000 season ticket holders.
It's not our fault. It's your fault for buying the tickets for a bad product.
Really, James?
Yeah.
You as a baseball fan are going to make that statement. There's no way you're going to convince me you actually believe that statement.
Hey, if you got a bad product right now, like no one wants to be a season ticket. Now they start winning,
11,000
then
people
you're
do,
going to see no more standing room when they start winning. There's not going to be no standing room. Oh, they're not. When they start
there was
winning,
standing room only, and it was getting sold out every time during 2014, 2000. Actually, really from late 2012
but they're
through
not going to have a
2015.
month where you get $40 to go to many games when they start winning. It's not going to happen.
It's a
They're
gimmick.
trying to help them.
Let them try a gimmick.
Bring people in, pay for the $8
Again,
hot dog.
I understand why it's being done. I understand what you're saying is all this. I get it. But you're alienating those people. You're not giving them any money back. We're not getting any extra rewards for being the people that actually spend the money on a regular basis. Even though
like Oriole Fan Day or something.
Scott, this happens every
not anymore.
This happens somewhere, everywhere in this world. Like I went to the game when you bought a ticket for the upper deck. You got the kids under, I think 12 got to come in for free. You're still getting in the stadium.
Are you really making comparison?
Yeah.
Not to mention, I used to know a lady that if I handed her a piece of paper, she would pretend to scan it. I just walk.
I 100% am saying that you truly do not believe this, and you're literally just saying this to poke the bear.
I'm not poking the bear. I'm just saying I love baseball. I would never have season tickets to the Orioles right now.
So you're going to play it year by year?
Not year by year, but when the time is right, I'll come down there and buy.
So you were a season ticket holder in 2012 to 2015.
No.
Okay, then your argument is mute, James.
No.
Your argument is mute. It is because if
It's
that
not
was
mute.
no,
Because
it is
I would
because if
love
that was
to-
true,
Hey,
James.
wait,
If that was
wait.
true,
Hold on.
He
if
has
that was
to be right. Remember, he's yelling louder. He has to be right.
Hold on, relax.
Stop.
Let
Hold on
me
a
tell
second.
you this: why I was a season ticket holder. My dad grew up in Italy. They didn't have jack shit. He came to this country to make a living for a better himself. He didn't care about anything about sports. Worked 7 days a week, bust his ass to take care of his family,
And that's great.
And my dad never knew anything about sports, so he never showed it to me until my stepfather came around and got me into throwing the baseball, into going to games. And I was at the luxury to be able to afford a ticket to go to the game until later years. But when I have my kids that are growing up now, in the next couple of years, when the product's good, I'm going to become a season ticket holder. And I'm hoping to pass down my season tickets to my kids. So it's coming.
All right. Well,
But now you got to wait. You got to take
right.
the good with the bad. And right now it's the bad.
Right. If you're going to be a season
So
ticket holder,
you
you got to
shouldn't
take the
be
good
a
with the
season
bad.
ticket holder.
I've been a season ticket holder since before everything has happened.
So
92, when the stadium opened, when we were bad,
I understand.
right? And when we got worse.
Hold on.
And when everybody only came around for Cal, who you think shouldn't be in the Hall of
He
Fame.
shouldn't.
And then when everybody left and wasn't around for 15 years when there wasn't a winning product on the field. And then when everybody came back around because, there's a winning product. That's all we want to be here for
Scott,
because we're spoiled as
example for
Ravens
you.
fans.
Perfect example.
Oh, my
We're all getting into stocks right now. Let's say you bought a stock at a high when something was premium. And then it
We're
went to
going
shit.
way off
Hold
the
on.
tangent.
and we're going way long.
And then it went
Yeah.
to shit, right? But you still hold it on instead of like, I put $5,000 now worth 20 cents. And you're like, I'm going to just ride it out.
This is the best, though.
And then it goes back up. You're looking good. So you have to take the good with the bad.
I just want to change this topic. Apparently, I think
That's
Garnett
not a
West might know
comparison, by
the
the way.
same lady. Garnett, did you know the lady that you gave the paper and she scanned it and then you walked in? I like that lady. She used to work for the VA and the Orioles. I think she's dead now.
Jesus Christ.
She certainly doesn't
All
work
right.
for him anymore.
Hold on. Let's rein this shit back in.
Yes, please.
We get it.
Why is our special guest thing up there?
I
What are
have
you
no
pressing
idea.
over
Cole's
there,
not
Ryan?
here.
Oh, no.
Oh, we still got
Jackson.
people asking where's Fred, so go figure. Might as well bring in Cole Jackson then.
Cole Jackson's done. I fixed it.
Hey, Cole.
So anyway, let's bring it back in. So the Orioles picked up the second half where they left off, sort of.
No, we're done.
We're gonna rein it back in. We're just gonna completely.
Let me say, they won. Because I have not been inside the stadium this year, and I'm going to go at least 6 times. Maybe I get tricked into going, maybe I should take the whole family here. Maybe it would be nice. If they get that with like 10 people, this is a good decision for them. Because they have nobody down
You're not
there.
looking for Scott's end.
It doesn't matter. It's whether it's more money for them. They might lose 3 Scotts. They're going to gain 3,000 other people.
All right, moving along, Drew. Go ahead.
Last night's game was amazing.
Go ahead, Drew.
I don't even see. That's why we need
Let's
Fred
move
around. He
down
knows how
the
to bring it
farm.
all
We're going
right.
down the farm.
No, don't go down the farm yet. Stop.
So here's the deal.
Let me start acting like no. Okay, so look, they had a winning series against the Rays. They won 2 of 3. Harvey showed up for a change, 6 scoreless on Sunday, and the offense with using some small ball was able to win the game 5-0. The night before, or was that day night game, whatever. Spencer
Saturday.
Watkins had another impressive outing. He's had 3 pretty good ones. So he's only given up 3 earned runs across 16 1/3. But on Saturday it was 6 innings with just 4 hits and only 1 run and a nice 7K to 2 walks.
All right. One thing I did want to bring up. So as of Sunday, when you looked at Sunday's starting lineup, 5 of 9 guys in Sunday's starting lineup were hitting below 211. 3 of them below 200. So there were some fans on Twitter that were kind of calling and clamoring for Brandon Hyde's ass and saying he needs to go. He clearly can't do anything with these young kids. And it's their basis for the argument was they're struggling with the fundamentals. We're seeing them really struggle with the fundamental base running, even just infield play has had struggles, throwing the ball to the right base from the infield to the outfield, a lot of those type of things. So where do you stand on Brandon Hyde as of today? Where do you stand on Brandon Hyde's future with this team?
Brandon Hyde was always in a no-win situation. You're the manager of a team that's in a complete rebuild. I mean, you look at it, and we always compare it to the Astros, but I wish I could remember the coach's name. But you had a coach in Houston that was there at the start of the rebuild, and then once they came out of the rebuild, see you later, and they brought in a guy and they win the World Series. So when you have these rebuilds, it just happens. I mean, eventually there's going to be a scapegoat. I get it, but I can't put a lot of blame on him because it's talent that isn't there. We know the talent. We talk about it enough every Tuesday. The talent is in the works. It's coming up. We talk about the guys like Gunnar and Newstrom and all these guys. So clearly, when you have guys like Ryan McKenna, you have guys that you're picking up, Gutierrez and all these guys off of DFA lists. Yeah, they're going to suck. They got DFA'd for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
Like, you're not getting, you know what I mean? Like, Otani's not getting DFA'd and we're picking him up. So What do you fucking expect to begin with? Like I said, to me, no, I don't blame Hyde because he's going to be the scapegoat one way or the other.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. My issue is I never thought that he was the end all be all. I never thought he was the fixer. I do see some part of the argument where there is an increase in issues with the fundamentals at all positions, and I think that's what I'm most concerned about. I don't know whether it's the staff. I don't know whether it's these guys. Are they getting too analytical and not focusing on the fundamentals, and then are they trying to give these guys the analytics too early, right? When they don't have the basics down. I don't know. I think my point with it is the jury is still out. He was never meant to be the end all be all. There's been things I've liked that he's done. There's been things that I haven't liked.
Yeah. No, I mean I'm not giving him a 100% pass, but
I'm not ready about to fire him in the middle of the season. Like I don't think that's deserve it. I don't think it's called for. I think you got to give him a chance to see what can he do. Where do they take it? Did he sit the team down and say, hey, we need to work on X, Y, and Z. I want you guys to take things out. We're going to have fun in batting practice. We're going to have fun in the cages, whatever it may be. I don't know. Sometimes a break does work. So far, 3-game winning streak, I like it. They're getting roughed up tonight. It is what it is. They're going against a good team in Tampa Bay. So I can't fault that either, right? It's when they lose to the bad teams that hurts the most.
Yeah.
That's when it hurts. But when you're losing to good teams like Tampa Bay and Boston,
it's better competition one way or the other.
It gives me an idea of where we stand.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know how do these guys compare against the top echelon that's here right now and around right now. So that's kind of where I stand on it. Joe?
I think if people don't realize most of these guys are placeholders, they shouldn't be watching the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Mullins, Mountcastle, Mancini. That's who I'd keep out of the infield, honestly. The rest of them can go. Maybe Santander, but, if you can't see what they're developing in the minors, don't watch. I mean, you can be
Joe,
like Ryan, don't watch.
Elias is holding that phone right there for everybody you just mentioned.
Call me.
See that phone right there? That's for everyone you just mentioned. So we're not going to see any of them.
Yeah, no, look, I just, it's one of those things I think people are jumping all over it. I think it's ridiculous to kind of think that.
And two, you have the guys like that. But then you have a guy like Ramon Urias. Yeah, he went down to AAA for a little bit. But once Galvis came up, he's been hitting.
Yeah.
And he's not a liability at shortstop. You know what I mean? Like, he isn't just there to play shortstop. He's shining because in July, he's sporting a 349 average and 820 OPS.
Yeah.
And he's not hitting 8 home runs in that span.
He's getting on base. That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's getting on base.
Yeah, and he's in that, like, he's kind of rose to the middle of the lineup because of how his play is. But before he got up to like 5th or 6th, he was at the bottom, setting the table for Mullins and Mancini to drive him
to round out the lineup. And that's the thing is a guy like that. That's what you want. And in all reality, I get why they're moving them up. You move them up, you get them more at bats, right? That's part of it. But part of that too, and this is something it's always debated. I'm a firm believer that you need to have a balanced lineup. You can't have a loaded lineup. I think even when we had all those guys that were hitting at the top, I would have much rather seen. And some people think I'm crazy, but I would have much rather seen a Mountcastle or Mancini hitting 6th or 7th because now I know I've got somebody there. Right, I've got my guys, I've got my bats that can be spread out a little bit and get through the lineup and make it a little bit harder to get through the lineup, not just the top of the lineup being hard to get through. So curious to see what happens with Hyde and with everybody that's going on there. Draft picks got signed this week. You were kind of talking about some of these. I think Cowser signed for 4.9,
and which was under the slot by like $1 million and change.
Yeah,
that was what everybody was up in arms at because you got this underslot, overslot thing, so it kind of became a buzzword where everyone's like, oh, well, if you're going to underslot this guy, this Orioles save the money. No, they still got to spend the money. Like, they're still going to spend the money on bringing the other draft picks in. You can't sit there and on one night you're thinking, oh, they only drafted this guy, it's underslot. And then, like, you didn't even know what they were going to do with the 8th pick. I mean, then I said it enough. It's like, not 9 times out, I mean, not every first-round pick is a hit. John Means, all these other guys, Mancini, we talk about, they were later on anyway. You didn't know about them in 2014 when they were drafted.
Yeah, well, I think that's the other thing too is when you look at the overslot underslot thing, a lot of things that people don't think about, right? The underslot actually helps us because if we want to get into that international market, we have so much pool money, and then if you go over that, you have to pay a certain percentage. So that extra money that we're not spending on some of these draft picks that really, from everything we're hearing, aren't actually worth that much, considering you don't know what you got out of last year and you're only basing it off of this year. with that being said, now you have more money for the international pool that, oh, by the way, you just already dumped a bunch of money into trying to start to build a new facility down there in the Dominican League so that you can get some of these international players and you can have a place for these international players to work on their game and not take up a spot in the minor league system. So it's exactly what you want to see. And you got Cowser signing, the second rounder in Connor Norby signs for 1.7. This is one that I think you said people were scratching their heads at.
Yeah, because he was, technically under slot because he didn't do the exact slot, but it's also like $100K less. And I think people were scratching their heads because they go, oh, well, if you save money on Cowser, that means that next pick's going to be Gunnar Henderson. Like when you know what I mean? There was underslot money for Henderson. They got to overpay Henderson a little bit. And you know what? Everyone in this room enjoys seeing that guy's rise. So you still, they're the only two signed. Just because you didn't like that at first doesn't mean that the fourth or fifth guy that gets signed isn't a little bit over slot, and that guy could be Mancini, the next Mancini. We just don't know. There's just not enough known with an MLB draft to get mad at the first two picks and think, oh, they underslotted and it's the cheap Orioles that do extra little promotions to bring people in.
All right, well let's
get to the farm. Yeah,
let's quick hit down on the farm. Drew, let us know what roster moves kind of happened earlier this week.
My boy Robert Newstroman got called up. He's going from Bowie to Norfolk. Another big name, Zach Watson. He's going from Aberdeen to Bowie. I don't really know much about Ignacio Feliz, but he's a right-handed pitcher. He's moving up from Delmarva to Aberdeen. A guy I do know about, Hudson Haskin, he's looking good, so he's getting promoted up to Aberdeen as well. A couple other guys. So you're seeing the moves to a lot of these guys that are getting from Delmarva to Aberdeen that have looked good, moving up now, probably just because, like you said, like we just had 2 draft picks. They're going to go somewhere, and the more likely they're starting at Delmarva. Yeah. So you're making room for these draft picks now because a lot of them, all but one was college players. So you're going to have college players that are ready to go play somewhere.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of guys that are moving up, and you have guys that have been. I truly believe if he continues on the tear that he's on, that I think we wind up seeing Adley Rutschman make the move up to Norfolk from Bowie. He's still producing down there after the Futures game. Didn't have a huge showing in the Futures game, but on the season he's hitting .269, 12 home runs, 11 doubles, 20 walks. Very patient. He's been at the plate, which is nice to see. 67 RBIs and has an .869 OPS. Great to see him and his buddy, the guy he's been catching, has been looking good too.
Oh, Grayson looked phenomenal his last start. I don't know if anyone's seen the highlights. Look him up. He got 12 Ks in just 5 innings of work.
Hitting 102 on the gun again.
Hitting 102, consistently hitting high 90s, just 97, 98. And then dropping it down, and he'll throw an 85-mile-an-hour slider. Just like it's here, and then it's just down, and it just like makes guys look foolish. Check out the highlights. It was well worth seeing. Another guy that's staying hot that the only thing I can think of is he's still working on his second base work. Jahmai Jones stays hot some more, sporting that 346 batting averages, 5 extra base hits over the weekend, including 2 home runs. So in 33 games since returning from IL, that's 298 with a 900 OPS. At some point by the end of the month or in August, September, whenever, you can't.
He's
deny
at Norfolk. You can't deny this kid coming up.
Yeah, you can't deny him at some point.
It's one of those things that you got. I think you get him up here. I think you start his clock. Right, I think he's not an Adley. He's not. He's maybe a guy that you can start to build an infield around, but I think you start the clock and see what he can do against Major League pitching. I know that's going to be the thing. The argument people are going to have is, oh, you only got to wait another month.
Yep.
But you brought Gutierrez up. You brought which Gutierrez has been. You brought what's his face up too. It's just Leyba. Leyba's been doing okay. I give Leyba a little bit of credit. He's been hitting well the past week and a half. But outside of that, I don't see the reason why they did it. It's literally just a placeholder. I'd much rather see him at this level, and whether we get it or not. He's the closest to it. It's not like you're asking him to jump from Bowie up to the majors. He's in Norfolk already.
And that's what we were saying, too, where it's like, how can you blame Hod when you have these guys starting? But then you see some of these prospects that they're showing something that they could be there soon enough, and they're not up yet. So it'd be a different story if, Jahmai Jones is playing every day, and he's not translating, and you see something that's fundamentally not there. That'd be a different story. But these guys that are, like I said, they were DFA'd the week prior. what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing, Johnny Reiser and Kyle Stowers, these guys were two college outfielders from the 2019 class. They're continuing to be the powerhouse for that Bowie outfield. They're looking great. High OPSs. Newstrom getting promoted.
But they were the three outfielders, and they were all hitting home runs.
Yeah, and not only are they hitting home runs, they're playing good defense out there as well. So you're excited to see Newstrom make the leap, and you hope that Stowers is probably a little further behind, just because of his timetable. Reiser is probably that next guy to make that move unless Stowers just blows something out of the water. But both guys are still doing well. So I think, I don't know that it's this year. Maybe it's late this year if it happens. But I think really early next year is where you see these guys make the leap. All right, this week's Liquor Stop Brew of the Week comes to us from Abita Brewing. It's Giacomo Juicy IPA. It is double dry hopped. It's actually not bad for an IPA. I don't think it's. You guys said it. You thought it was strong.
It's okay. I drank it because it's beer, but
I love watching the ghost beers. I don't know why I'm such a child, but you drinking out of a ghost beer is hilarious.
I'm drinking nothing.
The green screen beer effect. Here, for people without green screens, this is what your can looks like. Enjoy.
There you go. So, not bad. Any thoughts? Anybody else open it, try it, like it, not like it?
It's heavy.
Heavy? Typical IPA in that sense. So,
yeah, it is a double IPA.
All right. Make sure you guys head up to Liquor Stop, 1510 Conowingo Road. Tell Jerry and the crew that Birdland BS sent you. Get your 10% off. All right. It's time for this week's rundown, and we're going to run down through these quick. Ryan, let's go ahead and start with you. What do you got this week?
You tell me quick. I got some bitching to do. I didn't get to bitch about Conor McGregor, so I picked the next best thing. This Bryson DeChambeau guy. What in the world is this? I am one that always has said golf needs some more personalities, but not fucking drunk fighting frat boy personality. I don't understand what this is. Always drama with this guy. So we'll start with this week. DeChambeau sucked. Couldn't hit any of the fairways in regulation, and he blamed it on his driver. You know what the problem with that is? I can blame it on my driver because I'm just some guy that bought the driver. He's the one that gets a free driver and gets paid to have that driver, so he blamed it on his Cobra driver, saying that because of his club speed, he's on a fraction of an inch, and when he mishits it, it's going all over the place. We haven't tuned it in. You just said you mishit it, moron. Don't mishit it if you don't want it to be hit wrong.
Don't put it in your bag if you're not prepared to hit with it.
I'm bad at golf. I don't know but come on.
You're actually not bad when you listen.
When I listen, Scott's a great caddy. He shaved 26 strokes off my game with a back nine. That's how bad I was. There was 26 strokes to get rid of. All right. So anyway, it brings me up with all the stuff with DeChambeau. DeChambeau Koepka drama. I always saw it and I thought it was annoying, but I guess I went into research mode to find out how the fuck this got started. Why they get mad when they're called each other's names. Why the crowd gets to taunt golf players all of a sudden. All this is new in this new world of 2020, 2021 golf. I don't understand. So apparently, what ended up happening was Koepka mentioned DeChambeau as one of many players that were a problem with slow play on a course in an interview somewhere. Well, DeChambeau got all heart in his feelings and approached Koepka's caddy, telling his caddy, next time your boy has something to say to me, say it to my face. Which is hilarious because he's not 12? Saying it to his face. He's saying it to his caddy. Yeah, that's also, you're 12, and you're not doing what you asked him to do. So anyway, Koepka comes out of the locker room 3 minutes later to his caddy and gets told what happened. So they have a little confrontation and talk it out. And they basically both agree, just don't let my name come out of your mouth, and I won't let your name come out of my mouth because they're 12. And that's the things that we used to say to each other when we were all big puffy chests. So anyway, like a 12-year-old, Mr. DeChambeau was streaming video games and apparently said something about Koepka. And so now this is this whole thing of like they hate each other and they're open about it and in public about it. And it's just a mess. This is not what golf is.
The best part is people purposely mixing them up.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was saying. The fans now get to taunt just by saying to DeChambeau, what's up, Bruce? and like it's just such a mess. I don't understand. We don't need this. Cobra called out DeChambeau for talking trash about their clubs, basically said what I did.
I'm surprised they didn't pull a sponsorship.
Yeah, it really makes me sad they didn't pull a sponsorship. There's got to be a defamation thing in that contract. They should have made it hurt where it's going to hurt. But they basically said, like, don't mishit it, and also stop blaming our clubs, and just kind of called them out. So that's it. I didn't get to whine and cry about Conor McGregor.
That was close. That was close.
I don't know. Woo! Was that bit when I got canceled?
No, I think you're all right. I think you're all right.
Conor McGregor. I don't know how that happened.
It's okay.
But anyway, I didn't get to cry about him, but DeChambeau is the next best thing. So who's up next?
All right. Trio of domestic violence over the past week. Dwayne Haskins. Anybody see this story?
Yeah.
Wife is arrested on domestic violence charges after she popped him in the face.
Fred's taunting us now. He literally gets on here and says, "I love you guys."
Oh my God.
Yeah, I saw it.
Freddie, we love you too.
But no, so Dwayne Haskins, his wife pops him in the face, reportedly doing some damage because he went to the nightclub with his friends instead of waiting for the group while they were in Vegas. That was what this started over. But in a twist this week, it was made public he was trying to go after an Instagram model and was buying her gifts, reportedly over $20,000, and asked for her to return the gifts to him or pay him $20,000.
Damn.
WTF. Or is it WFT? Oh, no, never mind. He's not on that team anymore. So you have him. That's your first one. Richard Sherman. What the fuck?
That was insane.
Did
that
you all
was
see
one-
this video of
I
him
was like,
pounding on the door?
Let's see what happens. It really is, and then you see all the stuff.
You know,
after
you
the
say that,
whole
James, and
crap.
that was one of the things that social media was kind of shouting out. CTE.
Yeah.
It didn't look like what we've
That was
heard.
vodka, not CTE.
No.
I think
He has this has
So
multiple
they
ones
haven't
coming out.
actually pressed charges on him on the DUI because they can't prove it, but B, the fact that there are so many other behaviors here that they were saying he wasn't drinking when he was there during the burglary, the thing that he's actually being charged with. They're saying that they don't believe he was drinking, that he was upset about something that happened. It came out of nowhere. And there's so many pieces to this story.
He also
Drove
came
into a
out-
closed construction site.
But he
If
also,
it's CTE, maybe it's an
He's-
attempt to commit suicide. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but there's a lot of like weird factors to this.
even he's came out and said that he's been dealing with some stuff and stuff has been not right.
He's
It
on
could be-
antidepressant and stuff.
Yeah.
He's coming
With
forth
depression
it
issues. So,
enough. I
look-
think he's always kind of been that way.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Well, but I mean, you've seen him like
Out there with it.
the vocalizations that he's had over the past few years and things like that, and then you have him with this situation. Just crazy. You hope he is okay, but again, the attempted burglary and domestic violence situation, and then you have Nationals infielder Starlin Castro. He's been placed on administrative leave from MLB. Because they're investigating domestic violence accusation. Not a whole lot of details, just that it has been reported. They're taking it very seriously in this situation. And part of that is given his history.
How's
You
he
don't
still in
remember.
the league?
He was arrested in 2014 after a nightclub shooting, which he never was actually, I believe
Not
the charges
charged.
were dropped. He
Magic.
was never charged. And he was accused of sexual assault in 2011 in Chicago.
And also not charged. And magically, when the police wanted to talk to him, he was in Dominican Republic training.
Yeah. So really weird trio of domestic violence situations this past week. If you didn't hear about them, that's the rundown of those. So I'm going to flip it over to Drew. You're going to round out the sad stories here before we go to the two nice stories, I guess.
Yeah, the Nationals have violence inside the dugout and outside the
apparently
stadium.
outside. So I'm sure this one's gotten out there pretty easily. On Saturday in a game between the San Diego Padres and the Nationals, play was halted right in between. They were actually changing, going into the bottom of the sixth inning. But they heard, if you've seen video with the sound, you could hear like machine gun pop, 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 pop. So there was gunshots ringing out just outside the third base side of the stadium. And I mean, it was literally like you have the third base side of the stadium, and then there's a street. Like it was a driver shooting at another driver. And I think they tracked down one set of suspects, but the other ones got away. There was a victim on the street, but she
Female
was grazed in
Nats
the
fan.
back, so she seemed to be okay. I mean, with getting grazed in the back by a bullet, but you almost feel luckily though that it was because in the instant of it happening and you read back on articles, you instantly think when you hear the gunshots and you see people running that it's a mass shooting thing like you've seen at malls and cinemas and everywhere else in our society, sadly. So not saying luckily, I don't know the words you use. It could have been a lot worse.
Crazy all the did you see all the videos and stuff of like people hiding, putting tables down in front of them, hiding behind a bar.
B More Tuber mentions Manny and Tatis.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
the dugout.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. So you had Manny and Fernando and I think Will Myers. You had Padres
Will
players
Myers, Ryan Flaherty
grabbing their family members, friends, anyone they had close by, and other fans. And same with Washington. There was fans going to that clubhouse too because they just felt Tatis said it in the moment. Like that just felt like
the right thing to do.
The right thing to do and try to not panic too much. It was a crazy thing. Luckily, I mean, it was isolated to an incident like that, but it still sucks and it draws a conclusion. I mean, you know, we're in a terrible city as it is, and that's where that stadium's at. It could happen. I mean, it could happen in a lot of these inner city stadiums because the gun violence and then the drug violence is just prevalent. I'm not saying that's what this is, but that's kind of what it makes me think of at the time. So, like I said, luckily, I mean, it wasn't. When you first see headlines for it, you're looking at the headlines.
We were all together.
I thought it was a mass shooting at first, so I was looking and I'm like, okay, it's not that, so I won't.
Well, when you first said it, you were like, "It's dude." There's apparently they stopped the game because there's a shooting at the Nationals game, and we all went, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, you know, it's just crazy to hear. It's one of those things. It's sad, but you're happy to hear that it was an isolated incident and not something larger. Especially down in the nation's capital.
And so they paused the game. Obviously, they didn't play. They didn't finish it. The next day, they finished it, and the Padres won. And they played it was a doubleheader essentially. But crazy stuff. You say something, James?
Yeah, you think that would have been a bad time for ask for a selfie or autograph?
Probably.
Well, I will say
you would have though.
Those fans those fans are real slow to leave that dugout. I think they try to be like, all right, well, this is the coolest thing ever. Now that it's not actually a shooting.
Yeah.
now that no one continued to shoot, I'm in the dugout.
I think you had it up on your computer. Like when you heard the shoot, you used to see people jumping over counters and just taking off. Like
oh yeah, it was crazy.
Like there's a video out there because I don't know if you've been to Nationals Park. I've only been a couple times. So the
left field,
center is like a kind of open air area where they just kind of like it funnels into the stadium straight off the city. So like all these mass people are just running out,
like the bull racing,
you think you could be running into the shooting, but at that point you don't know what it is. You're running from the shooting that you think's 10 yards behind.
There was the other video of like some people hiding behind like pillars and stuff and like showing people like, no, go over there. Like, no, stop running through. Like,
so I said,
it's
like,
crazy.
Why would you run out of a stadium when shooting? But people that were at the game, they thought it was in the stadium. That's how it was.
That's how close it was. I mean, it was literally, it happened about less than 100 feet.
Us being
from
not
third
there,
base
we're like, why would you run out of a stadium if you're hearing shooting? But a lot of people thought.
A lot of people heard the direction that it came from, and they said, "I'm going opposite of that."
Yeah. And it probably echoes in the stadium because of the giant walls, so it probably sounded like it was coming from everywhere, depending on where you were sitting.
Yeah. It did exactly.
So, all right, let's flip it over to Drew, or not Drew. We'll go with Joe.
Drew's old spot.
Drew's old spot. Joe, what's it's only your old spot temporarily, all right?
Well, apparently people. Never mind.
Man. All right, so since we don't talk soccer here that much, I figured I'd bring up some soccer news. So the United States men won 1-0 to Canada in the CONCACAF Gold Cup.
That's 1-0 for the layman.
For the non-Italians.
0.
Well, I guess we can call
Why did we call that
football.
the Italian couch?
Football, not soccer.
True football.
20 seconds in the game, Shaq Moore scored the goal, which, you know, I like to watch the national teams play. I don't really watch much other soccer, but I think it's a good time. I just really want to know whether Ryan thinks soccer is more boring than baseball.
Oh man, that's pretty close. I would rather watch a FIFA game than baseball, but like
average soccer.
But like
I'm talking about
United,
national team, like World Cup.
Our national team or some other nation's team.
Hey, Ryan, you would love. Ryan, you would love to go to a DC game because after they get done drinking, they do the snake.
The snake would be the most entertaining part of the game. Yeah, no, I like to watch like the national level good soccer teams, but That I don't think I could go watch a DC United game.
So what's more
Probably
boring?
Don't worry, the World Cup's
You didn't
coming
answer the question.
I probably right now would be baseball because again, I think there's probably more fans in a national soccer game, and the full stadium would.
Probably right.
Would I'm sorry.
There's only-
I figured it out now. It's baseball versus soccer. That's what we were debating this whole time. Yeah, I think that when you're talking about a national game with the USA soccer team, I would pick USA soccer.
Fred be having a heart attack right now.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's whatever.
All right, James, what do you got for our last rundown topic
My
this
last
week?
rundown is ESPN. The mecca, the monopoly of ESPN, like shit needs to change. So now they're decided to they hired or brought in Peyton Manning and Eli Manning to do like a simulcast.
Thank you.
Where it's not that's going to be them for Monday Night Football. They're going to be on ESPN2 or ESPN Plus if you're paying for that. I don't know why someone wants to pay for it. For people that get stuff for
I
free.
get ESPN Plus because of Disney Plus and
I get that, but I'm just saying. But
Hulu.
if I'm paying for a subscription and someone's getting it for free, I'll be pissed about
Can
it.
I get it for $40?
So,
oh fuck, that was good.
All right,
so
James,
they're
you're
gonna be
done
on
with this
ESPN
topic. We're
too.
moving on.
And,
James is no longer allowed to talk.
And so they're paying. They're going to be doing this for 10 games per next 3 years. They're going to be on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. But I hope Eli can do a little bit better than having like a weird, like stuck looking face. But the
That's
first
his face.
game is going to be against the Oakland Raiders and the Ravens, September 13th.
So
ESPN, I guess they're tired of Tony Romo taking all their attention, so they're like, "Oh, we'll have Peyton on this channel."
Maybe they should have
and
paid
we'll
him more
have-
money.
And we'll have the shitty.
Yeah, I think
we'll
if they
have the
wanted
shitty
Peyton,
the other
Peyton
one on
wanted
the other
more
channel.
and said, "Well, you do your regular Monday night thing. You pay me for this."
ESPN's got to get their shit together
Yeah.
because why have two fucking telecasts going on and you're like, "Oh, just decide which one you like."
They've already did it last year, so they did the Nickelodeon simulcast, which was awesome. I watched the Nickelodeon.
That wasn't
cast instead.
ESPN, was it?
It was.
Yeah,
just,
well, it's
I thought-
ABC. They own
They
it.
own
They own
both.
it.
I thought it was CBS that did it.
So anyway, they had to have that, and then what this was is they've been asking Peyton to come out of retirement and be their announcer for a long time. Peyton's like, I don't want to travel to 18 cities a year, and I don't want to come sit in your booth, and I don't want. And they just kept offering and offering, and they
the
decided during the
pandemic
pandemic, hey, you could just sit at your house and like we'll green screen you in, and you don't have to come anywhere, and you won't even be the main show. It'll just be people that like you tuning in. So like they couldn't turn him down. They're gonna be able to sell double ads. They're gonna be able to do whatever
That's
they
the
want to
thing
do.
is people are going to tune in because it's Peyton Manning, and then if depending on how it goes, I mean he does bring a lot of knowledge of the game to the table. Depending
They
on
can
how
offer
it
him a
goes,
huge
this
contract.
also could be a cheap way for them to go. Hey,
about
we can vouch and say, hey, we can offer you more money, or who knows? While we all think Eli is let's throw the football. He could turn around and be a great analyst. We don't know, but if they do, this is a cheap way for them to do it.
Troy
and then turn
Aikman's a
around
pretty
and,
good analyst.
and
He
wind up
sounds just
throwing
like
them that.
Hey, just to let you know,
Way more
know,
CTE than Eli.
Hold
Yes.
on, just to let you know, I'm pretty sure ESPN get a hold of us and we can do a Monday night with the 4 of
100%.
us.
I would do it.
and we can
but
save
we
a little
can't
bit
do it
money
if Fred
as long
isn't
as they
here,
want.
though.
As long as they want to fly us out, we can go to the stadium. I'm
panties out
pretty
a bunch.
sure.
I'm good.
Private plane.
Listen,
we can do it.
Here's the
Half
deal.
half the price.
This could be also a first with the simulcast style stuff. This could be a first in involving people like that. Fred and I have talked about that before. That there's a missed market there for people that don't like listening to some of the names that have been around for years and years and years and continue to get paid, even despite a lot of fans vocalizing not liking them. This may be a way for them to still make money and still keep those fans. I don't know that it's the right people to test it with,
Yeah.
but it may be that route
It
of
can
the
also be
simulcast.
like, we're going to go down, instead of going to the sidelines, we're going to go to the casting couch over here.
There you
for
go.
Our,
I like it.
our sideline reporting.
I think Casting Couch has a lot more viewers than this is going to.
All right. No rules. No boundaries. 2 topics. 30 seconds each. It's time for the 2-minute warning. All right, it's time for the 2-minute warning. Ryan, you're reading us the questions today?
Yep. They're both long ones, so I'm going to try go.
You wrote freaking books on these. You better be able to speak quickly on that second one.
It's cool.
All right, I'll go first on this one, Joe.
Yeah.
The Olympics, now a year late, start Friday. They have announced no fans, no medals to be placed on athletes. There's huge local outbreaks in Tokyo and have them on lockdown, and multiple USA athletes have been ruled out of the games for COVID. Is it time to give up on this second round of games, or are you still good to go?
I hate to say it, NBC's not going to like it. It's time to give up. Like you just got to roll it into the next 4 years. Roll it into 2024. It's time to give it up, guys. You're already risking all of these athletes and putting them at risk. But then they're going to wind up coming back to their home states and their hometowns and putting their families and friends at risk again. I don't think it makes sense. Just call it a day. I know it's going to kill a bunch of athletes, but at this point, it's not worth it.
I think you should call it a day. I don't think they will call it a day. And to me, I'm not saying that they're the only ones to blame, but Tokyo, Japan in general, has not done well with vaccinations. They don't believe, they don't believe in it overwhelmingly, and you know what I mean. That's the negative part of our country. You know what I mean. So they already didn't do their job to begin with, so they're going to continue not doing their job and just keep the games going.
All right. The following is a Nick Saban quote: "Our quarterback has already approached ungodly numbers. He hasn't even played yet, and it's almost 7 figures. Has name, image, likeness lost control and turned into pay for play already?"
It kind of has, but we all anticipated this. We all anticipated people to throw money at these college athletes because there's already a ton of money. There's a ton of TV time. There's a ton of sponsorships that they can be doing for 4 years, in some cases, that you can have them connected to. Is it out of control? I don't think they ever had control. Simple as that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's out of control yet because it's still so in its infancy. I guess in that aspect, it's not really lost
in
control.
1 week, a guy is making almost seven figures.
Well, let me go back to that. I'm gonna rein it back to that quote. No one but Nick Saban will be able to come out and say something so brazen like this.
The guy hasn't even made a play.
But I'm just saying. I agree. No, I get you. But I'm saying if it was fucking Loxley, we gotta really go into if no one but Nick Saban can bring. That's all I can think about is this fucking quote.
All right, well, we got our after hours topic.
There we go. All right. All right, guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week. Stay tuned for the after hours. Shout out to B Moore. He says, I followed when Fred and Scott did Monday Night Football games. Y'all could do it. We've talked about it. We've talked about it as a group. We may look to see about trying to do that every once in a while this season and cut that. So pay attention because that may be coming back around because that was a lot of fun.
Maybe September 13th.
There you go. Maybe September 13th is the way to go. We'll see what happens. But we appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week for the Birdland BS Show. As always, you can check us out on our website, www.birdlandbs.com. While you're there, you can learn about each of us. Drew is up there. James is now up there. Joe, I'm sorry. But anyway.
It's all good.
We'd love to have you when you are here, though.
Yes.
You sure about that?
We've got bios and pictures up of these two guys. We've also got all of our episodes. We got ourselves some Birdland BS gear, which you can go check out as well. Make sure you also check us out, bigplay.com and birdlandsports.com. Is he really wearing the 316? You brought those, you motherfucker. Get yourself off camera. I'm done with you. Oh, my God. I want Fred back. Please come back, Fred. Fred will be back. Fred will be back in a few weeks. For those of you that have been asking, Fred did have to step away, take care of some things for himself. So appreciate you guys. Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, make sure you check us out. Audio version of the podcast, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your shows at. Make sure you check us out. Check us out on all the social media pages too. At Birdland BS is how you find us, or / Birdland BS is how you find us on each of the social media sites. As always, we will be back next Tuesday night, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. For Drew, Ryan, the goddamn Penn State Cats and Couch, and myself, we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
It's last call for alcohol, and Ryan's apparently into the alcohol. They can't even see it, so that's the best part about it. They can't read it.
See that shit?
Yeah, get
Tiny.
your fat face up in there. Go ahead.
That's bigger than the deck.
Ryan's head's bigger than the deck. All right.
Oh,
Anyway. All right, so we've been doing this for the past several weeks, and I know that appreciates all of you guys that have been chiming in. And Be More, I know I gave you the shout out. We did do the Monday streams. We're talking about that again, about trying to figure something out like that. But if you've been watching, we've been doing the Answer the Internet questions. So it's from Barstool Sports, KFC Radio. It's called Answer the Internet. Questions as fucked up as you are. So each of us, we had a stack. We went through a few different cards, and we found the card that we're going to ask. So I'm going to start it off here, and I've got my question is.
why don't you let Drew do his, because you got to do the first pick, like, you know.
I went first last week with these. It doesn't matter to me.
All right.
Only draft picks when he can't pick anything.
Yeah, I still like I'm going to get the votes. So that's cool.
All right. So this is it's a poll the internet, ask the internet. 2 buttons. You can only press one. You instantly get $1 million. Or you have a 50-50 chance to get $100 million. Which
easy.
button are you pushing?
That's easy.
I like the 50-50 chance. Let's take the gamble.
Take the gamble? Okay.
I mean, I'm all right if I don't win. It's okay.
Okay. Doesn't matter when it's money you didn't have in the first place.
Money I didn't have in the first place.
Okay. Ryan?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm taking $1 million. That will pay off everything I owe on my house, on my cars, I'll be able to put like $400,000 away on retirement and live off like I can just go to work, and if they want to fire me, they can fire me. Like I can easily make $50,000 a year anywhere. Every 5 days, find a new job when they don't like me there anymore. It'd be great. That's awesome. $1 million would change my life completely. 100% guaranteed million.
All right, James.
It's easy for me because I'm a gambler. I'm going with the $1 million because I know it's there. I can invest that money. I can probably get about 20 years of Oriole season tickets. Maybe they have a winning product. I can sell my tickets.
By the way,
for
just
more
so,
money.
just so that he knows, 20 years of that is only 40 grand.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So you're taking the
No,
guarantee.
but I'm getting the whole season. I'm getting the whole book. I'm not just getting the 20
not that little, not the little deck package.
I'm getting the big package.
Shut the fuck up, Ryan.
And then when they're hot,
Mute your mic.
and then when they're hot, I'm selling them to
And
the
then
Yankees.
he can travel.
and-
He can travel with the team.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm taking that money and selling my tickets to the Yankee fans and Boston fans. And
I now have more game tickets than Scott does to the Oriole games this year.
All right, Joe. What are you doing?
I'm going $1 million.
You going the million?
Yeah,
That's
I'm with
expensive.
Ryan. I'd pay my house off, get a new car, have money left over.
Joe,
Still working.
Drew, you were the lone wolf here because I'm going $1 million too. It's guaranteed money. As much as I get your 50-50, you don't have anything. What do you have to lose? You have to lose $1 million.
I can take care of my kids.
I still have my family, so.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
And then
I'm
think of
done.
that $100 million. My kid,
right.
that $1 million is running out by next year. That $100 million, those kids get that forever. Like that, they're
If you
kids'
get
kids.
it, it's a 50-50 shot.
50-50.
And if not, they'll never fucking know they're 4 years old. They're not gonna know. They wouldn't have the option to have $100 million.
All right. What's your question now?
All right. We all like these 3 game shows when we were kids. So this is the Marry Fuck Kill edition.
Oh, jeez.
You got Marry Fuck Kill, Legends of the Hidden Temple, Guts, or Double Dare. Scott?
I'm killing Double Dare, marrying Hidden Temple, and fucking Guts.
I wouldn't suggest fucking Guts. But.
Yeah. All right. I'll have to go next. I would kill Guts because I can't even remember it. I don't remember that show at all.
It was the one where it was like sporting. It was sporty stuff the kids had to do.
I don't remember it at all. So it's dead to me now, and it doesn't hurt at all.
Okay.
I guess I'd fuck a legend, and I'd marry Double Dare because it sounds like Double Dare was pretty fun, and I think that we could have more fun together.
Dare. Double dare.
All right, James, what do you got?
Same thing as Ryan. Exact order. Double dare was the shit. Dude.
Well, now I'm going to marry James.
I used to get up.
Kaylee's listening. Joe, what do you got?
I'm with James and Ryan on this too.
Jesus.
Funny
Wow, I'm
enough.
surprised.
What is yours?
Funny enough, I have the same order you have. So.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's funny how that worked out.
the front and back here?
I mean, I loved Legends of the Hidden Temple. To me, these are the best out of the three, so that's what I'm marrying. Guts was pretty cool, even though some people might not remember what it was. So that, yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch a YouTube.
And Double Dare, I mean, Double Dare was good too. Somebody's got to lose in this one. Someone's got to die. Double Dare.
Double Dare just had more variety.
Mark Summers
Legends
had
was
enough to do
cool,
after
but it was
Double
the
Dare.
same over and
Yeah.
over again.
All right. Ryan, what's your question?
All right. Would you rather have relations with a bunch of models, but nobody knows, or not actually have relations with them, but everyone thinks you did? So this is like do you need to be cool or actually do something? And I'll take actually do something because I don't care what anybody thinks. Obviously, I'm wearing double eye black right now. John 16, little dick. Tiny dick.
All right, Joe, I'll let you answer first this one.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't really exact same reasons. Like I don't really care.
Yeah, I'm not Bryson
You don't need to
DeChambeau.
know. Yeah, same reasons. Ariel don't watch the show to get in trouble for me anyway. So
Instagram models are whores. I ain't trying to catch anything. I'll let everybody think that it's happening. It's not.
wear your rubbers.
Carrie's
That does-
watching.
My son and my wife.
By the way,
All right, Joe, what's your
by
answer?
the way, this is
asshole?
Scott's idea of these cards. Nobody's forcing his hands on this.
Models,
Yeah,
models,
yeah.
baby.
I didn't pick the cards. Y'all picked the cards.
You know
bought
what's
the
coming
game.
out of these
Oh, I
things.
did. I picked the game, but it's fine. All right, Joe, what's
I'm
yours?
going with the models.
All right. James?
Models.
All right. I'm a little wolf on this one.
All right, let's get back to this Nick Saban shit. Let's talk some
Hold
sports.
on,
for a
they got
minute.
2 more cards
Oh, I'm
over
sorry.
there. Jeez.
Get in there.
All right,
Other
real
than
quick.
between you guys,
since
I don't
we're-
really care. I didn't want to expand on the Kyle Saban thing, but
Just to let everybody know, we're not doing polls on this, but it's would you rather lose half of your dick length or half of your dick girth? That was one of the questions.
Is that seriously the
Yeah.
card?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. These are your cards.
It
that
is
you
a
pick.
check. I'll take length. I don't even know the math
There's
on
not gonna
girth,
be
but
no
it's not going to be
pictures.
good.
I'll take half the
Like it's longer than it is wide, so I have to take that way. you can mathematically you can't lose half the other one.
You can cut the length. Go ahead. That's it. All
Everybody
right, Drew,
pick
you're
your
in.
picture now.
I don't even want to fucking answer this one.
We all answered.
You got to have like a chode and a half to pick the other direction, I think. Or have a Campbell's soup can.
We'll be uploading
Yeah,
pictures.
yes, the
Oh,
length.
Stephanie Summers with the laughing
length.
face. At least somebody enjoys this.
We'll be uploading
length.
pictures so the fans can decide.
Yeah, I'll get back to you with official math measurements on this, but I'm pretty certain we're
right.
giving up the length.
Joe, can you keep it together?
I-
What are you
I
gonna say?
do a
I'm not
length.
coming
Length.
back. They go find out.
It may have hurt too deep before, never too wide.
All right, Joe, what's your question?
All right. Would you rather be known as the best sex ever by a bunch of normal girls or the worst sex ever by a bunch of smokies?
I guess Smokies means hot.
I guess
We're
hot,
getting tens. I'm too old to know what that even means. So what do you think? Take the fucking normal girls, bro. Lower your standards, your life will be
Yeah,
better in
I
everything.
think
This is across the board.
everything.
If you
Yeah.
lower your standards in life, your life will be happier. Stop trying to shoot for the moon and you'll land on the stars bullshit. Shoot for the ground, you might bounce. You'll be doing all right, I promise.
Yeah, give me the normies. I want the
Yeah,
normies.
Normal.
Yeah. I mean, I've been with normies my whole life, so I'm good.
Oh! Thank God your wife doesn't listen.
Holy!
I think my wife is
Hey,
smoking.
hey, get that number off so
Stephanie
we can
Summers.
save this.
Please turn off your computer and pretend you didn't hear that.
What's the count on there? What time it is? We have to save this clip.
An hour and 56 minutes.
Hour 56 episode.
All right.
203.
Did we get all the
man.
answers on this?
Nah, I didn't get mine.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, because my wife is upstairs, I just want to go with
Your wife's
not,
upstairs now?
Not answer this question right now because my wife and my kids are upstairs and listening.
By the way, it's happening next week. I'm bringing left, right, center dice, and we're going to roll to see if we're going to do our own
I'm gonna
answer
go with the-
or the person to our left or right.
Oh,
it's going to
yeah,
be
yeah,
awesome.
That's gonna be
yeah.
epic. So I'm
we
gonna
gotta
just
do
go
that.
with the norm. We're going to just do the norm. Just
The
keep it
norms.
simple.
Yep.
All right.
Them normies.
All right. You want to get into this
Smokies,
Nick
normies,
Saban
might
thing.
as well.
Nick Dick Saban.
I mean, I never thought what Drew had said, but I kind of agree. Like, now, Nick didn't think this was getting out. Or maybe he did. He's really
He
smart.
don't give a shit.
He
at this
knows.
point. Nothing.
This was-
He's untouchable at this
This was
point.
a private conversation, supposedly, in a Texas athletic coaches clinic or something. So he's like teaching other coaches in Texas, and he said this when somebody asked him about the name, image, likeness, about 7 figures. That's $1 million for a college kid that's never played football yet. That's insane. So if you're saying nearly 7 figures, that has to be at least $750,000. If it's not, you're estimating real bad.
Yeah.
So $750,000 is more than you're making as any G League player, as most European players. Like the stars are making more than that, but most of them are not in basketball.
Pete
Like,
Alonso just won the home run derby. He's not making $7.
that he's not making $750,000. Yeah, that's
He made
a
more from the
lot of
home
damn
run
money.
derby than he made all year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think you might be right, but it's just it's nobody's allowed to say negative things, because as soon as you go negative with this, it's like you're saying the players don't deserve to be compensated for what they got. Well, that's not reality. Like, if you want to pretend that all college athletes are the same and this is going to help everyone, this is only helping the star.
It's only helping the top of the
in
top.
the top 2 male sports at 10 schools. Like, this is not actually going to help.
You might get
the
a
majority
few,
of things.
You might get a few of the top like female basketball players, maybe some of the field hockeys, but not. I mean, those are the 2 that make any kind of money. Some of the lacrosse, I guess, does too.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that's
they should be able to
soccer
use
as well.
They should be able to use what they have to make money, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
these field hockey chicks should be allowed to have field hockey camps in their off season and charge high school girls and their parents
Yeah,
to come.
yeah.
Like, that's what you should be allowed to do. Just like a music major can teach guitar lessons. That's what we were always told. But what's happening is blank checks for,
Yeah.
like, showing up. Or, like,
Well,
But
recording a 5-second
Did you
thing.
really think that this was not going to happen? Like, if you thought this was not going to happen, you're naive.
No, I mean, I knew it was going to
The
happen.
only-
I thought it would take a little more time. I didn't know how
The only
brazen
thing
it'd
I'm
be.
worried
Oh no,
about-
I knew it would be quick.
The only thing I'm worried about now is the women's national soccer team's going to come out and say we need more money because these college players are making
Probably.
more than what they are, and they're doing this. So you just open up a bag of worms.
Yeah, the free market determines what you make. So sorry if you as a female child or non-athlete need to start watching more female sports if you want them to make more money in female sports. The ratings aren't there, therefore the money's not there, and that's the way it's going to stay.
But they don't
I
get
don't
it.
even understand how Title IX exists in college. Title IX is an amazing law. We should be spending equal money on boys and girls sports, bringing them up.
that's not
They
happening.
stopped
in
that a long time
college-
ago.
In college, they're not boys and girls anymore. Why was that? Why does it matter?
Yeah.
They're adults.
It's
Now it's the
crazy.
real world.
Well, which is crazy because some of them are in college at 17, by the way.
Just to throw it out.
Fair point.
Since we're talking about like Pete Alonso with his home run derby, but did you see what Otani did with his money they got for the home run?
Oh yeah, giving it to the 30 staffers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He won $150,000.
Wrote checks out.
But apparently he said that he was going to give away his winnings to those 30 people, no matter how much it was.
Yeah, that's-
So if he won $1 million, he'd have been I think they wound up with $5,000 a piece. If you'd have won, it'd have been $33,000 a piece that he would have been giving away to each of them, which is good on him.
yeah.
And I don't mean this in a
Makes you
negative
like
way,
him more.
because that is that is a really cool thing. So I don't mean what I'm about to say in a negative way.
Then don't say
But
it.
no, I know. I want to point, but people might not know. It's not really not a bad thing.
No.
But you're also talking about a guy. This is where we go with Pete Alonso. I don't know what he's doing with money. Maybe he is giving his away, or maybe he is because he's not making him over $1 million.
Oh, Otani's getting paid way more.
That's what
per
my
year.
point was.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It
Still
is
not gonna
easier
pay
for
what he's
guys. Well,
Either one of them.
but I'm
No.
saying, like, they literally had to pay the Japanese team he played for to talk to the guy.
I don't think
and they didn't even
Otani's
get that money back. And then they had to pay him. They weren't, he's not getting arbitration. He's already making
Yeah, but his
multi-million
I
dollars.
don't think his contract's that big.
It's bigger than
I
The
think-
biggest Japanese contract in history, isn't it?
I think the team got more than his contract.
That always happens.
Yeah.
The team always ends up getting like 40 million
the
to
one-
80 million now,
the guy
and
for
then they
the
never
Red Sox for the Red Sox.
Dice guy.
Yeah, they paid a lot,
and they didn't
Yeah,
actually
man.
pay that much to him. It was kind of like
It was like
right
20
before
mil,
some
right?
of the bigger contracts too, though.
But they paid his team a lot of money.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. It was like the
I mean, there's
Dodgers or
situations where the Japanese player like that shine like that. 'Cause I want to say maybe they even happened with Otani. It might be wrong, but like there's plenty of situations too still where you pay all that money to the Japanese club and then like the guy never signs with you.
Well, but that's the thing is
you don't get that money back.
the Japanese clubs are kind of, I think what you're starting to see slowly, very, very slowly, is the Japanese and Korean markets are becoming kind of an additional feeder system. They're becoming additional minor leaguers because a lot of those guys, when they come over, they can pretty much come straight to the majors. You saw it with Otani. You saw it with Ichiro, right? He was the first one to really successfully do it.
Koji Yohara here for
Koji
years.
being able to do
had
it.
a couple of Korean ball players and come in.
Who was Bruce
Wei
for
Chen.
the Orioles? Wei and Chen.
Wei
yeah.
Chen and Hung Soo
Hung
Kim.
Soo
Kim.
Kim.
We know we were going
Coming
to
from the Korean league.
Kim's
There
the
you
man,
go. You're
the
worth
man.
it.
So those guys coming over. Interestingly enough, did you guys see the story about the guy that goes over to the Korean League? Do you remember a
Man,
few
we're
weeks
really
ago?
stretching now.
No. Do you remember a few weeks ago the first baseman for the Pirates that made that horrible blunder that wound up being a
they
triple?
sent them over to Korea.
He
or
got
Taiwan.
DFA'd, and he wound up saying, "Screw this! I'm going over to Korean guys now in the Korean League." You went from being on a major league roster to being over in the Korean League, being paid a quarter, if that, of what you were making as an MLB player.
There's a lot of ex-Orioles in the Korean League too.
There are.
There's a lot of
There's
those
one-
guys that
there's
used
one
to
in the
play
Japanese
catcher in
league,
high
too.
school that are
So,
over there too.
so Otani signed a 2-year, $8.5 million contract. So the average salary 4.2.
But that's not bad for a guy coming into MLB.
Yeah, but they paid.
Yeah, but not for the best
They
pitcher and
paid.
hitter.
They paid the team that he came from more money than that.
What'd they pay him? Does it say?
Nah, it doesn't
I would
say
think
that.
2 years is short for that. They usually want like 4 or 5.
They had to have paid. They had to have paid them like 10 or 20
I mean, it's
million.
also a big thing too. You're out in California, and it's the same reason why Ichiro had so much popularity being in Seattle. It was a lot easier if the Japanese fans from Japan wanted to
They could
move to
take it,
California. Let alone the fact that there's a
or
huge,
travel there for the games.
there's bigger Asian communities in those states than say Texas.
yeah, for sure.
All right.
All right, that'll be it. We're going to round it out for tonight. We appreciate you guys tuning in and staying on for the after hours. Good night, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. See ya.